friends all say I lost my mind, lost my mind. I keep talking about you all the time, all the time. I can't help but treat you like you're mine, like you're mine. Yeah, my friends all say I lost my mind, lost my mind. I keep talking about you. I'm so fucking mad, I know, yeah. Cause you're driving me insane. Don't you say I never told ya. Loving you is such a waste of my time, such a waste of my life. Thanks for breaking my heart. And those feelings that we both had when I leaned in and you pulled back and you said that I can't have your love. My friends all say I lost my mind, lost my mind. I keep talking about you all the time, all the time. I can't help but treat you like you're mine, like you're mine. Yeah, my friends all say I lost my mind, lost my mind, lost my mind. I've been different since I met you. All my friends, they say I've changed. And I've been trying to forget you, yeah. But you've been stuck inside my brain. Such a waste of my time, such a waste of my life. Thanks for breaking my heart. My friends all say I lost my mind, lost my mind. I keep talking about you all the time, all the time. I can't help but treat you like you're mine, like you're mine. Yeah, my friends all say I lost my mind, lost my mind. My friends all say I lost my mind. Yeah, my friends all say I lost my mind. My friends all say I lost my mind, lost my mind. I keep talking about you all the time, all the time. I can't help but treat you like you're mine, like you're mine. Yeah, my friends all say I lost my mind, lost my mind. My friends all say I lost my mind, lost my mind. I keep talking about you all the time, all the time. I can't help but treat you like you're mine, like you're mine. Yeah, my friends all say I lost my mind, lost my mind. My friends all say I lost my mind. Yeah, my friends all say I lost my mind. My friends all say I lost my mind.
Jojo vsi, en lep pozdrav sem, živijo Zadetek, živijo Foxy, živijo Slo Legenda, živijo Svitski, živijo Savinčan. Videk si rekel, danes sem zaradil kar velik denarja, kako Videk, kako to misliš? Živijo Tikson, živijo Mr. Aki, živijo Grofik, živijo Sodja. Da človek poje kar zgolj svojo zavest, ja Sodja. Tenza, a ni šele bil FNCS tak 2 dni nazaj? Ne, v bistvu Tenza, FNCS-a običajnega, ki je ponavljal vsako sezono, je že konc bilo 2 tedna nazaj, ali no, oziroma en teden nazaj, prejšnji vikend. Pa bi pa zdaj še last chance za zadnjih kolikor slotov imajo za LAN, ko bo naslednja sezona, ker naslednja sezona je sam LAN. In se igrajo pač last chance, samo še za tisti, ki še niso prišli na LAN, so lahko sami igrali. Živijo Trog, živijo TVBeni, živijo Gifted. Ja ne vem Videx, kako, kaj si delal? Živijo Streamplayer, živijo Vidcar, živijo Miško. Kako za kaj danes chat? Jaz sem v redu, včeraj chat sem šel v Ikea malo gledati stvari, mislim, sestra je mogla iti za pojsla pa to, a ne gledati v Ikea, pa sem rekel, da grem zraven. Pa sem pa še gledal za studio, pa to sem malo gledal, pa malo mere si sliko pa to, da vidim. Pa sem prišel domov šele ob 8. Pa sem pol prišel sem ob 15:09, pa sem pol delal do 4 zjutraj mapo. Pa zdaj sem delal še 2 uri mapo, tako da cca 90 ur sem zdaj zapravil na mapi. Ni še čisto dokončana, ampak sem že blizno. Živijo Janja, kako si? Živijo Sašo. A ti si v Mariboru? Ne, v T2 sem, v T2 v Ljubljani. Ok, Videx, deal, Videx, droge tala, chat, GG. Pa smo ga dubali. Grogi zbravo member message, hvala ti legend za 8 mesecev. Jo, boš kdaj naredil valo z membri, pa SLZ igre. Ja, ej, SLZ igre... pač žal so te poplave tudi vmes prišle. Zdaj ne vem, pač razmišljal sem, da bi bilo nekaj bolj na simple, kot ponavad. Ampak zdaj ful ne vem, no. Sploh pa, ker bo zadnji vikend sem na epicentru, a ne. Bom pa mogoče res probal kaj za zimo pol narediti, ker ni bilo polet. Sam moram res se spomniti. Pač fajn bilo, da naredim sam eno mapo in da vsi, ki so membri, lahko tekmujejo. In da je ena mapa pa nekaj v zvezi s časom, po moje. To je bilo najbolj zanimivo, no. Tako da ja, Jax God, Luxon. Jaz sem rekel, čet, kako ste vi, Jainor? Kaj bomo danes gledali? Se pravi, danes je FNCS/Chance finale, se pravi, to, ko sva z Brijatom igrala v petek ali v četrtek, nisem zihar. Lahko igrajo samo tisti, ki še niso kvalifikali na ta LAN, kjer je že Tyson, pa zdaj tudi Miša Patini. In v bistvu je danes finale in zadnjih 9 mest gre pol tja na LAN, ne. Savage je eden izmed teh pa vadil, ki še nista tam, tako da nekako bom za njiju navijal, no. Kje je stream player, nisva. Lega videk, živo Blaž Petrič, živo Komovc. Hočete videti malo, kako sem mapo zdaj naredil, chat? Pač update tam ScorpLZ Aljažek mapo, sicer se ne več imenoval ScorpLZ Aljažek, ampak bo, ne vem, SLZ Practice Map, ali pa nekaj tazga Ultimate Practice Map. Tenza, Sage pa vedil ful dobro igrata med rednim delom sezone, ko pride do finala pa vedno čovka tam. Lahko vam mačkam pokažem. Jaz upam, da ko bo publishan, da ne bo tok legal pol. Upam. Če vam štartam. Daš mapo samo s healing, mi pol poviramo te healing in se pol po nekem času zapre zone in unka ima največ healov in zmaga, ne? To je drugač dobra ideja, drugač pa ja, lej, takole mama, ne? Tukaj si izbereš. Pač practice map nekak na foro od Raiderja, sam da sem dal več stvari noter, se pravi, tale stran je čist pač beginninga, ne? Streliš te kvadratke, da te pač teleportira, a ne tja, ko streliš. Ti motaš, vedno prideš nazaj. Recimo ta prva je, a ne, za čiste beginnerje, a pa če si tipke menaš, a ne, imaš pol pač za editat. Tlej recimo edit only, a ne, pol na dvojki imaš edit plus shoot, a ne, se pravi, tukaj ni nikjer buildanja, tukaj je sam, da jih ustreliš, a ne. Teli so kar v tleh, ne vem, zakaj so vsi v tleh, ampak da se to po mojem nima veze. Tako da ja. Pač tle imaš to, pol tukaj je sicer free build, ali pa če greš s prijateljem, greš lahko tudi 1v1, če hočeš, tak simple 1v1. Isto pač pola, ne, tle če dol padaš, te teleportira tle, pa imaš pač easy reset gumba, ne. Tako da če kdo hoče, pa sem pa naredil te, ene sem naredil po svoje, ene pa takih so že bile. Janja je ratala bis, Janja, pozdravljam, vi ste, hvala ti za support. Ampak edin bug, ki imam chat, je, da vidite, noče se mi slajdat. Sam na začetku se hoče slajdat, pa vsakeč, ko se teleportiram, mi zašteka. Pač, hočem slajdat, vidite, kar tako ustav se. In upam, da to ne bo pol na javni mapi. Pa ne moram fiksati tega, ne vem, pač dejansko še moram narediti. Ali še enkrat, Janja, dajte LoveLZ za Janja. Ampak ja, pomaš pa tle 14 različnih kursov. Recimo, te so Infinity, eni niso Infinity. Tam, ko moraš vole prevzemati, jih je 20, ostalo je Infinity, ampak enkrat greš čez. Recimo, če grem noter, pa se takoj teleportiram nazaj, je še vedno odprta, ne. Ampak takoj, ko pa prvega ubijam, to zato, da pač folk tudi ve, ki je ostova, ne. Veš, ko prvega ubijam, pa šle imaš drugač pol neomejeno teh. Recimo, tam, kjer ne rabiš prevzemati stvari, zabil dal, tam lahko skozi delaš, pa greš nazaj, je z rdečo obarvan. Da veš, da si že tam bil, pa ne moraš več naprej. Tako da sem ful tako naredil, da je čim boljši. Žan, pozdravljam tudi ti, nazaj, bi se te membri LoveLZ še za Žana. Žan, hvala ti, legenda. Pa tukaj pač vam kaže, a ne, kaj približno morate narediti, sicer bom tudi napis dal. Kako sem pa zdaj tja prišel? To je pa nekaj zbagan bilo. Tale teleport moram popraviti. Prav, tale tretji teleport me narobe teleportira, okej. To moram zdaj fiksati. Pa Janja, še 5 evrov!
Ker si to gledajte se trucku, usmukar se dogaja, vedi da te mamo vsi radi.
Hvala Janja, dajte vsi srčke v W za Janja v chat. Da še preberem, če kdo slučajno to ni zastopil. Ker si toliko najjače, pa se trudiš kljub vsemu, kar se dogaja, vedi da te imamo vsi radi. Hvala ti Janja, hvala ti ful res za support, hvala ti. Živijo presta. Čakaj, tale trojka narobe teleportira, zakaj pa to? Tale more... Teleporter PC4. Čakaj, teleportiral me je pa tam, kaj je edit only, a ne? Pa, zakaj me pa narobe teleportira? To mi pa res ni jasno zdala. Čakaj, kje imamo... Tata tretji je... Aha, zdaj pa še Žana pokazala. Hvala ti še enkrat, Žan. Ok, Videx. Ej, hvala res, Janja, ful za support. Hvala tudi tebi, Žan, da si rata member. Ej, ta tretja, ne? Se pravi, to je, ko so stopnice nad playerjem. Lega, pa še Žane, Nevro pa presta enega giftanga. Kdo je dobil od giftanga memberja od preste? Nik si pozdravim, mislim, zahval se. Presti, ki si dobil giftanga memberja. Hvala ti, presta pa Žan, hvala tudi tebi, legenda, še za 1 evro. Hvala ti. Hvala vam res za support, legenda. Hvala vam ful. Aj, se pravi, tale bi mogel biti. Zakaj se tle ne teleportiram, če vam naštimam, da se? Aj, to je zbagan spet. Ne vem, kako je, če je objavljen. Ta je zbagan, tega bi mogel teleportirati vsem. Hajde še enkrat, legenda, Žan. Oj, zdaj pa dela. Zanimiv. Tako da ja, pač tele so. A mi je všeč drugače mapa, chat? A vam je všeč? No, se tle ne znam editati. Koliko časa si porabil? Ja, sam včeraj, pa s tem, da sem imel že malo več kot pol narejen, sem porabil 9 ur včeraj. Pa nisem še čisto končal. Jo, vidiš, hvala še tebi, legenda, za 1 evro. Hvala ti. Dejte W v chat pa srčka za vse supportere danes chatla, poprosim. Dejte prosim za vse supportere, hvala ti, Videx. Danes delam pull upe, tako da potrebujem tebe, da zbereš eno številko od 1 do 10. Ajde, 9. Leka me spet narobe teleportira. Nekaj... Ne, čakaj, to moram pogledati, aj kaj na timer mogoče, da me po nesreč. Tako da ja, tle imaš to, da je z vseh različnih kotov stopnice, a ne? Pa da boksaš. Tako da to. Pa imamo... Kaj imamo tle? Aha, tle je tako kot tam, samo da ni stopnica, ne, da lahko pač sam noter postaviš, ali stopnice, ali pač kovn. Pa imamo... Tle imamo side jumpe, enkrat leva, enkrat desno. Pa še enkrat, vsi te... O moj bog, no, evo, zdaj pa ne moram niti tega narediti. Vsi, ki nimajo nič za prevzemati, a ne? Buildal pa to. Zakaj mi... Zdaj jaz sem slab ratu. To zdaj, ko streamam. Kako da misliš strog? Tako da recimo tukaj, evo, to je en bug še. Tle imam zabuildan wall, ampak ga kar ne kaže. Pri prvih dveh ga ne kaže, čeprav sem včeraj kao fixu. In zdaj vidim, da je spet isto, ampak ja, tle imaš da prevzameš. Imaš pa od kola naprej. Ampak ja, kaj imamo tle? Tle, tudi recimo tle, tega, ta wall prevzameš, editaš, bok zraven. Jo, daj, hvala ti legenda za 34 mesecev, dajde memberi še ScorpLZ ZADNJA, hvala ti, hvala. Pol, kaj imamo tle? Ja, tle imaš pač tak bolj free, a ne se pravi. Tle je pač cel box, a ne, da ima malo HP-a. In se lahko odločaš, da pač iz vseh različnih kotov, da greš pušat, a ne. Tako da ja, tle je to. Pa tukaj imaš tale free drop. Tole pa lahko boksaš, ali pa kogarkoli, lahko tudi tako. Zdaj po Ej, zakaj mi pa noče zabuildati tle? To je zanimiv. Ok, ja, v glavnem tle je to. Pol imamo tle, ki imaš tudi recimo, a ne pač ga boksaš. Pa greš lahko iz te strani, pač mislim, tle bolj free, ne, kakor misliš, da... Kakor v igri, ne, ko se vmes odločaš. Imamo še 13 po 14. Tale je... Tole. Pač imaš prvo tega v spodja, ne. Pač recimo na ta način, pa tale... Aha, tukaj le vidim, da moram popraviti, da se rdeča obarva. Tukaj vidim, da se ne. Pa imamo pa še tegelga, tale pa v bistvu tle zabildaš, postaviš takole kovn. Da prevzameš pa, dobiješ kao na deleč, prevzameš, ne. Na tak način, tako da zaenkrat sem to naredil. A ja, njih, zato je bilo, sem mislil, da res imaš za telovade, pa sem se še usmilo. Živa se Vinčan, živa Tija, kako si? Mapa še ni v zuni, pomade pa tle pač ja, free builda, ne. A vam je v redu drugač? Pač probam še kaj dodati, da je še kaj tako piece control bolj free builda, ne. Da nekje že kaj zabuildam, pa nekje ne. Je kakor v igri kao. Tako da tisto bom še probal nekaj narediti, sam ne vem, če imam prostor, da tisto naredim, bomo videli. No, po moje, da bi se dal. Ampak načeloma pa mislim, da sem jo končal. Top koliko pride na LAN iz EU, top 9, kakor jaz vem, če so vi takrat prav povedali. Ja, kar to Videx. No, da vidim, ajde. Vidim, če so druge ali ne. Kdo od vas bi to mapo pol igral, pa practice očet na njej? Eni vem, da igrate še uno staro aljažek mapo, tako da tole vam bo definitivno bolj všeč. Če do od Mr. Beasta nov video, sam malo razočaran, da dejansko pač velik folka, ki je izbral iz okol sveta, je izbral Američane, ki imajo korenine iz tistih držav. Zato, ker ta Slovenc je imel čist ameriški naglas. Definitivno živi v Ameriki, ja pa je bil celo tam rojen, ampak ima slovenske korenine. Ok, Videx, ok, a to si sam danes, ok. Po kurningov vam nimam earningov jaz. Kaj klik si, Kilan. Tako da ja, tle je pol vse, moram pa še narediti, da je en gumb, da resetaš levela, ne. Ampak ja, imam še, tle imam še tle, ki bi lahko kaj dal, pa tle v zadje, ne, pač lahko dodajam stvari. Zdaj pač tukaj imamo, ne, free build, edit plus shoot, a ne. Pač pa imamo obične edite sam. Razmišljam, kaj bi lahko še dodal, poleg teh stvari, ki ste zdaj videli tle. Načeloma je to vse, a ne? A veš. Kaj pa, z Dreamhacka? Ne, nič nisem tam dobil, niks. Verjetno je en milijonar iz Amerike. Ma ne, dvom, da je milijonar, mislim. Ampak sliši se pač tudi druge države. Tle en code manjka, ok, to je treba fiksati. Sam še te dve stvari fiksam. Kdaj bo pa mapa v zvoni? Moram en dober thumbnail narediti za mapo. Pa jo lahko že kar objavam, tudi če še ni čisto vse noter, kar hočem, a ne, ker lahko itak pol sporo dodam. Ker glavne stvari so zdaj noter. Tako da moram jo samo objaviti, pa thumbnail narediti. Tako pa smo rekli, se pravi per edit only. Per edit only, tukaj en kon manjka. Evo, ok. Pa tukaj je bila napaka, da se ni nazaj postavil pri 13, se ne motim. Da je pa Artemal mu. Prav. Ta ni prvi, ta ne bi smel biti prvi, mislim. Ta je prvi, čakaj, tale je... Teleport, okej. Pa na levi strani je. A tega ga moram dati na desno. Ali tudi na desno. Okej. Moramo narediti, kad tega ga ubijaš. Ne, ja. Tega ga ubijaš. Add barrier device PC14 enable. Da vidimo, če se je shranil. Ful je zbagan, ker se kdaj ne shranil. Evo, to bi moralo, da je to. A kdo ve, zakaj se mi kamera na PlayStation 5 kontrola premika sama? Aha, sej eni so ti napisali stick drift verjetno. Kaj se pravi 13K, vidimo, če zdaj dela. Zdaj, če emotam, bi mogla biti zaprta, okej. Bilo slučajno po nesrečno. Ja, zakaj me kdaj kar vrže... Random me vrže v to... Zakaj me sem teleportira? To je edit only, a ne? Čak, moram pogledati, zakaj me kdaj random v ta teleporter What the fuck? Zakaj meni forč tega, kad špilam, pa na 240 FPS pa 13 pinga, pa mi kar sam hod, kada bi imel auto ravno kloplam. Pa 3 sekunde rab, da kaj postav ali pa edita. Ja, a imaš mogoče packet loss full velik, živo tiha senca. Čakaj, videk sekunda. Gled, kje smo? Čakaj, ta teleport sam hitro pogledam. Kaj me random sem teleportira? Data zone... Start. A, zakaj me pa... teleportira, če sem tam? Data zone... Kaj še mu data zone, ka... Ful je zbaganih stvari, čat. To da vidimo so druge. Za eno vagan prodajam, prideš, tebi dam cnej. Aja, okej. Na tisti manj mapi, ki je sama ima, lahko greš pod mapo. Kako greš lahko pod mapo trog? Ne bi smel biti tam možen iti pod mapo. Čaj, upam, da ko bo tole publishan, da bo boljš delal, ker tukaj so kar eni bugi so in pojma nimam zakaj. Pojma nimam zakaj. Pa ful dolg sem delal na tej mapi. Toxic Nick, pa mislim, da ti ful zdelan dela, pa da imaš 240 FPS-a, pa da nimaš visokega pinga, mi je pa res čuden. Pa dejansko, ne vem. Pod vodo sem pršel. Ja, kje si pa pršel pod vodo? Po moje, če si buildu ful predelač, je čisto možno, da ja. Greš čisto predelač, je možno, da prideš tja. A Tyson je na lanu? Ja, Tyson je že na lanu, ja. On je pršel že prvo sezono tega chapterja. Nik, pa ne vem zakaj. A tukaj da sem hotel dodati... Zdaj so ta shotgun dodali. Here items. Ta sharp tooth shotgun so dodali sicer. Zdaj že konc sezone, ampak nima veze. Odpozno so ga dodali. Damo tole, pa damo še breachera. Tamle postavljen. Ja. Okej, pa še tale. Okej. Aj tole lahko že updateam. Publish. Kaj ti boš zdaj cel streamave delal? Ne, čakamo, da se začne ta FNCS. Se začne zagledati. Pa zdaj sam pač malo folku kažem, uno mapo sem kazal. Da je to. Zdaj grem samo objaviti tole v bistvu, kaj je lik bilo. Daj reč, Mojca je drag. Kva, zakva, mislim se zdaj sem rekel, ampak kva? Kaj je fora? Koliko gre na LAN tukaj v tem finalu zdaj? 9 gre na LAN, ampak na LANu je pol več. Na LANu je pol so še na LANu neke kvalifikacije v bistvu. Kot nek bo več kot 50, ampak danes jih gre še zadnjih 9 iz Evrope. Ja. Kje si Grifar? Na robu platforme sem padel dol in me ni teleportiral nazaj, ampak me je zgličal pod mapo vodo. Se lahko to sam ti pijaš nazaj, pač to verjetno nekdaj tako tak glitch trojk, to te ne bi smel, ker je posod tam. A ti veš kako na PlayStation 4 spremeniš ime za prijatelja? PlayStation 4, to moraš pa na PlayStation accountu zamenjaš ime, ampak enkrat ga lahko za ston zamenjaš, pa mislim, da moraš plačati, da zamenjaš ime. Imam prav chat. Mama, ne? Kje imamo SLZ 1 zdaj, publish this, ok. Pa, zakaj pa ne moram? Ja, 54. Ok. Ta One bo updaten, ki ga bojo pač sami dobrili. Že nek king, jo cool sem pickaxe od tega skina s tova koda. Hvala ti, Octavian, hvala ti. Če giftam ga member je lahko dobi kdorkoli, vsak, ki je subscribe, ga lahko dobi, ja. Kaj veš, če je kliks v finalsih v svoji regiji? Včeraj vem, da je igral, ampak čakaj, lahko gremo pogledati, realno. Zdaj sem vse tle, lahko gremo pogledat. Prav, v finalsih, ja, prvi je bil včeraj. Kliks je v finalsih. Chat, koliko gre pa iz NA, koliko gre iz Amerike naprej? Top, koliko mora biti kliks? Osem, ok. EU pa 9, a ne? EU pa 9.
Ej, hvala, ker si mi doniral, zdaj se pa ne bom več sekiral.
20 evrov. Veš mogoče za kakšno trgovino z računalniki, pač razen Ani pa Big Bang. Ja, mislim, jaz sodelujem drugače z Big Bangom, tako da načeloma tudi ne bi smel pač drugih trgovin omenjati, če tako gledaš, tako da žal. Tukaj ne morem kaj pomagati. Pač kaj tako so pravila. Kaj to pa vse regije skup špirajo na eni regiji? Pač, a veste kaj je LAN? LAN je, da so vsi te igralci, ki pridejo na LAN, so povabljeni, pač da pridejo na Danskem bo ta LAN. Vsi bojo tam v istem prostoru igrali. To ni pol nobena regija, vsi imajo 0 pinga, ker tam ni pol server nekje, ne vem, vsi so pač tam in LAN je, da so vsi z enim kablom tam povezani na en server. In tisto ni pinga pa nič, vsi so na 0 pinga, zato pa LAN vedno dokaže, kdo je kao najboljši, zato ker ni ne pinga nič, vsi so na istem, vsi imajo iste kompe, vse. Veš. Če je Ivan. Če tik sem. Za EU imamo pa lejte. Za EU pa imamo Pablo Vingo Babies, te poznate Nepsa Hellfire, tudi poznate Vortexa Belushija, tudi že poznate Jabko Pako, Jarko Darkis, ne vem, kjer je dosta Link, Furry Legendary, Snooze Losers, pa Active Pixel, tudi ne vem, kdo so, Double Vexi, Moneymaker F9, Lucia Default, Lies and Astral, CZB Nipsey, Coopcade, Cringe, Overhype, Janis Rizon, Zara Zangi, Purgens Ankidoi, Purgens Propsy, Revsgard Trippern, Kaizen Clement, Hen Vaske, Dan Porčava, Comeback PKR, PKR, Tatlex, Cryfall, Citra, Slok, Zej, Bagera, Jojo, Ark, Raidon Goat, Dela, Marius Kau, Kronos, Ichi, Vadil Savage, Korniš, Kive, Box Chapix, Steno Luši, Altenzi Hizix, Čep Khan, Piramos Predage, v glavnem ja, dojel ste. Je kar dosta teh poznanih, no. Moneymaker je star 14, ja, on je up and coming, ne. A več nekakšnega okolo, kjer bo govoril, kdo je umoril, ker ne gledaš dost. What do you mean, Tixon? Zakaj te igrače so bili v Grand Finals? Ja, tisti, ki niso prišli na LAN. V Grand Finalu, v tej sezoni, si rabo biti top 10, da prideš na LAN. Če nisi bil top 10, tukaj lahko vsi igrajo, ki še niso prišli na LAN. Unik so na LANu pa ne morejo, recimo Tyson, Mišatini, Seti Kami in tako naprej. Mnogo gremo G dog Esor, ja. Pa ja, jaz tudi upam, da se več hvala, jaz tudi upam. Tyson je že kvalo, če Tysona danes note videl. Tyson je že na LANu. To je zadnja šansa za tiste, ki še niso na LANu. Tako da jaz ne vijam za Savage-a. Pa Janisa bi bilo tudi dobro videti, da gre. Prej. Granči. Morajo biti pa top 9. Ja, Kliks pa igra pol. On igra ene central. Mora biti top 8. Lej, včeraj je bil prvi, tako da... Tikson se zdaj ne rabaš premiuma. Se imam jaz, tako da losa joinaš. Pa temljem, nočem o tem govoriti, ker pol... Znade, pol, ki hoče pol to kupati. Aj, bog, pridite. Gledajte se. V te dva pisarni sem čat, ker pač doma je poplava in moram te streama, dokler ne zrihtam studio nazaj. Čaj, cel svet je ful bolj zanimiv. Ker sam ena država ali pa karkoli. Zdaj sem je že na LANu, ja? Kako doma? Urbi, kaj ja sprašuješ, kako je doma? A Slovenija mi je res brez veze, Tikson, meni osebno. Enkrat smo šli, pa mi je bilo brez veze. Veš, da bo naslednja sezona trio. Naslednja sezona je še vedno duo, zato ker je pač cel let. V redu, drugače, Urbis, v redu. Pač čakam, da se vse posuši. Ta teden, zdaj, ko bo, moram klicati do okn za mena. Daj bo IRL stream. Ja, dajte mi kakšne ideje za IRL stream, za katere ne rabim GoPro-ja pa to, pa dobrega mikrofona, ker še nisem dobil teh stvari. Kako bi šli lahko Bullseye? Kaj pa je Bullseye? A kdo je bližji, sam tako, ali kaj? A to je pa Turčija, ali? Sam kje v Turčiji zdaj? V Istanbulu sem bil, ne zgleda, kaj je Istanbul, pa je pa komot lahko nekaj zraven. Tam tudi zgleda, kakor da je nekje ob kakšni obali, maybe, ne, tako nam... Kaj za foro bom tle dal, ja. Ok, Dixon. Po še kakšen World Cup. Mislim, to, kar je zdaj, je kao World Cup, mislim, isti sistem glede tega, da so vsi na LANu, ampak price poola pa sam game moda, ne, je pa čist drugače. Ampak upam, da bo. Tak je bil Istanbul, sem da zraven na levi. Robija. Hacienda da las Fiores. To je nemščina, ne? Al? Ne, kakšna nemščina? Španščina. Nisem mislil nemščina, čat. Moc, hvala ti za 22 turški lir, hvala ti. Lej, moji Turki. Hvala ti, hvala ti. To bi dal jaz kakšna Južna Amerika, že Jakob. Tako, Južno Ameriko nikoli ne vem, pač, nikoli ne vem, kjer del Južne Amerike bi dal. Ne zgleda lihka Mehika, mislim se vem, da je to srednja, ampak. Dejansko ne vem. Da je dosti toplo, dajmo Peru. Dejansko ne vem. Ta bila Gvatemala je bila. Ja, trog, to, kaj da imam na to vpliv, se lahko da tudi tako igra, veš. Ja. Tle je nek golf igrišče. Jaz bi rekel, da je to nekje v Ameriki. En tak imam občutek. Jaz bi rekel, da je to nekje v Ameriki. Nekje bolj topli kraji.
Ej, hvala,
Tam
ker
kje?
si mi doniral, zdaj se pa ne bom več sekiral. Dev, kako sem jaz dober.
Hvala ti, aja, to je še za komovca, hvala ti še enkrat komovc legenda, hvala ti, kako si? Veš kaj, jaz bom dal kar Washington, bom dal, nekje v Washington, ajde. Zdaj si dal včeraj na streamu zadnji FNCS letos na thumbnailu. Zato, ker za une, ki ne bomo na lanu, je za nas zadnji FNCS bil letos. Pač naslednjo sezono ni več FNCS-a, sam še un na lanu je. Ne boš mogel qualified, ne boš igral online, da priješ na un FNCS. Ja, kar tle, Bermuda, otok, ja, GG. No, glej, vsaj bil sem dokaj bliz, če tako gledaš. Okej. Ali igrišče? Kaj spominjajo te stavbe, čat? Rezerve s platnim Prakovičem opravnenim. To je pa... To je Češko. Slovaška je mačkam bolj našim podobno, ali? Ne, se ne vem. Eto Češko, čat. Jaz bom dal Češka. Ne, Slovaška bom dal. Slovaška bom dal. Bratislava bom dal, evo. A na koncu je Amsterdam. A nisi gledal tako govor, da... Ja, čeprav nisem imel šumnikov, fakt. Povaj sem zasral. Zakaj ne bo MCS-a? Jebate Fortnite. Vse vsak let isto, zdaj že 2 ali 3 leta. Češka je bila, Praga je bila. GG. Bom gledal MCS, 15 časa bo začel. Še 7 minut, da se začne. 15 časa še da začne. Okej. Probam ugotoviti. Pač je v angleščini. Peljejo na desni strani. Jaz bi rekel, da je to verjetno Amerika. Tam ful so take malo drugačne hiše, kot v Ameriki. Čeprav, ok, imajo tole, ok, ja, Amerika. Eagles, ja, pa tale bus. Ne, pa jaz zdaj vem, kje v Ameriki smo, čat. Ni nič palm pa tega. Bomo dal kaj tako bolj. Dajmo kakšen... Dajmo Dallas, dajmo Dallas. Kaj pa bo naslednja sezona, če ni FNCS-a? FNCS bomo lahko sam gledali naslednja sezona. Bojo pa pač cash kapi. Živo Dani. New York? Ali Filadelfija? Filadelfija. Drugi sem bil. Izpinči. Ajde, chat, joinite se nazaj. Še ene host nam, ajde. Eno slopa bullseye. Dixon. Kaj to hočete Slovenijo, če to je... Skaj mi tam Vortex skazal, what the fuck? Daš Slovenijo in daš... Se sploh ne bo mogel bullseye, da nas je preveč. Ja, Bullseye je sam za 2 do 6 playerjev. Ne, to ne bom dal, ker posle drugi, ne bom dal Bullseya. Kar dajmo obično. Ne, chat, Slovenija je kar neki. Jaz kaj praviš, da bi streamal kdaj Forza Horizon 5, do jutra je zaston na Steamu? Se jaz imam Xbox Game Pass imam in je na temu gor. Drugač. Ne, tik sem boljše i... A so Ergovišov stoli dobri? Ergovišov stoli so insane. Insane stoli. Pač najljubši gaming stoli. In tudi pisarniški do zdaj, ko sem jih imel. Zdaj imajo ful več stvari. Jaz sem sicer moram video dokončati, sam tam sem rekel, da je notar, že poštark sem jih zdaj v poplavi izgubil. Ampak moram. Da video, da malo vidite razliko med njimi. Sam, ker so bile poplave, hodil sem objaviti že pred poplavo, pa se je polih zgodil tisto. Počati.
Ej, hvala, ker si mi doniral, zdaj se pa ne bom več sekiral. Damn, kako sem jaz dober.
Hvala za donacijo. Ker dvom, verjetno ni Mehika. Yo, je doniral 1 euro, yo, legenda. Yo, kako si, hvala ti legenda za 1 euro. Čau, pizza, ne, danes se bo pizza. Kaj si dom zdi? Kaj, Dreamhack. Dreamhack je sam tako, da si povabljam, no, koliko sem jaz follow model, fucking Portugalska je bila. Mode, jaz sem dal nič evrov za Game Pass, meni nič za ston, noob. School Zone. Pa na levi strani se peljejo, se prav. To mi ne deluje ka Anglija. Diamant High School Hostel. Kje da fuck je pa to? Diamant... Kje je to chat? Avstralija, Nova Zelandija. Diamant High School. A kdo ve kaj je to? Ne vem, če on Starfield. A je Starfield, čakaj, kjer je? A je Starfield Duna? Fuck, daj hitar. Alo? Nisem kliknul, no. Pa je bila? Singapur je bil. Singapur nikoli ne pomislim, da na levi pelajo. Da imajo v angleščini. A daj, kaj nisem kliknul, no, kar nekaj. To tako zgleda, kot da mogo zihar poznati, kje je. Je tako bolj posebno. Afrika. A nekje tle, ali takole nekje bi jaz dal. Sam Severno Afriko sploh še nikoli imeli nismo. Škoda, dajmo... Tole, ja. Pisali je na šoli, da je Singapur. Kaj je tam prej? Ma, dej. A vidiš, pa še razmišljal sem, da nekam tja gor dam, pa pol nisem dal. MCS je čez minutko 2, sam še tole odigramo, 2 rundi. No, da so vsi po levi pelejo. Rumene tablice. Ne, Korejni, to je... Pak, zdaj sem pa zmeden. Korejski jezik, korejščina je ful bolj kockast, sam tle imaš tudi kockast. Fuck, aj to... Ej, zdaj sem pa čist zmeden. Ma dost hiter ugotovim te jezike zdaj, čakaj. Jaz bi rekel, da je to Kitajsk. Tam zdaj pa... Ne, sam na Kitajskem... Čaj, a ja, sam ka ne vem na kjeri strani se pelejo. A jebi ga, nekaj modal. To bi bila... Lahko da je Japonska, ja. Ka zgleda tudi mogoče, da se poleve, ja, bila je, ja. Ej, zdaj sem bil, fuck. A vete, kaj je problem? Japonščina pa kitajščina fulkrat mešam, zaradi tega, ker pač... Zdaj, ja, nekaj se tudi tabi učim, doskrat pove, kva je. Pored... Japonci uporabljajo nek del pismenk kitajskih, pa pol dodajo svoje zraven, ne? In zaradi tega me doskrat pol zmede. Tole je GeoGuessr. Ampak ne vem, zakaj me to kmede, ker me ne smel. Palja, rvatutku, rahu, ljubadega, ja takso, ja hunte, hensilet, What the fuck je to za en jezik, chat? Kaj je to za en jezik, chat? Help, kaj je to za en jezik? Neki stari avti. Je rekel francoščina. To da je francoščina. Je to zgleda kao francoščina? Pa bomo kliknili, sam ni. Kaj je bilo? Estonija? Ne, ni bila Estonija. Čakaj, pod kva to spada? Čakaj, kva? Estonija... Aj ne, je še dlih pod Estonijo. Pa že Rusija. Čel se je, ja.
Up top near Stelz, I believe, right now, and it's kind of surprising to see Genesis and Reason, expecting them to be a little bit more south on the map, but they switched.
O, zakaj imam to narejen? Zakaj, o, zakaj? Zakaj sem to kliknil? Zakaj je Ctrl Shift dvojni V, da ti zapre? Pa in zdaj imam še reklame, no. Ne, Valorant. A sploh nimam Fortnite Watch Partyja tle. O, točen, ker nisem tle delal Watch Partyja za Fortnite. Dobar, vred je. Že nic ba. Mike ti ne dela, tep ne dela. Savage igra, ja? Savage še ni prišel na land, tako da ne vidimo za Savagea. Rizon, Janis tudi še nista. Ej, vi nič ne vidite, alo? Gradič šlo. Ja, bo čakaj, če zdaj pa sem že povedal. Sam letos ga ne bo več, sam LAN bomo še gledali. Teka qualifier danes pa unika so že qualifier skozi ta chapter. Zadnjega je bilo isto. Zadnjo sezono ne igraš MNCS-a.
And a pickup of just confidence here when you're opening at your drop with an elimination to start 2 versus 1 situation here. It's going to be tough now for Cytra to even have a chance to escape, much less live.
Ne znam, Diča lahko to še zmaga, ker ima šilde, one dva noben od njih ju nima. Oba lahko vam pampa. Kamera. Ja. Ja, bomo pa takole naredili. Oddal display capture.
Rivers up in the air, but Reason doesn't even care. He's just focused on the fight that's happening at the bottom right now. Just looking to see how far this one will go. Meanwhile, Riz on Rexy across the map. And just, yeah, this fight just going to take a long time because I don't think Cytra's is going to give it up really easy at all.
But that's the thing. The amount of time that's already
been expended here, so ZADNJA mesta iz EU, ki grejo na LAN naslednjo sezono.
Knowing that there's still an opposing member there in Cytra at your location, they're just having to spend so much more time than could be utilizing on farming instead. Near the gas station though, for Shadow and Cry Falls, they find themselves in a little bit of a predicament. Shot will not connect. Right side gonna be given up for the time being.
GeoGuessr, Kilixi.
Stripper
Sem rekel.
And refs
A ta lan je World Cup,
trying to see
mislim.
if they can find a moment to collapse here.
Pač World Cup je bil tudi lan drugače, ja.
Just doing his best to sneak
Sam
around.
pač ni World
Has
Cupa, ne.
a pretty ninja-like position. And it doesn't seem as though there's going to be any further push,
sam
but Tripp,
slovenščina
he's gotta
tudi
work
spada
this one
postavik
on his own for
language.
the time being, given that refs is already out.
Veš, Domzi.
Tripping and refs guard. This is a fight they have to win with speed. A lot of the times they just end up taking it too long in these fights. Their position looks a
Ruščina
little
pa to, a ni.
bit wary, and then after that, Surge.
A še vedno
with them.
ni isto. Srčina hrvaščina je veliko bolj podoben kot kar
Defensive options.
slovenščina pa
Backing up, it's a 1v2,
se
unfortunately.
da je on kar dead, ja.
For this man, this might just be the end. Unseen though on this side, but nope, it's just the
On si v
repositioning.
cerkvi omedlel, zakaj?
From Shrift right there. I mean, this is just unfortunate for the duo in terms of a game one start. They won't have 2 days to rock this one. Between with Janice and Reason again.
Kaj,
getting a
zdaj
little
boste
bit
kar
more
ukazovali, memberi.
northern as they go straight for Walks and Chapix. And they're trying their best to stay in the game, get anything done, get a little bit more aggression, but having that type of fight over
Razmišljam, da zdaj za nalaš en mesec ne bo, zato ker mi ukazujete, kaj da počnem. Memberi.
That's just so painful though for Giannis and
Ker vidim, da zdaj en mesec
Again,
sploh
they
nič
had
ne
to
bo.
spend so much time just dealing with that
En cajt ni
initial
bilo
duel
noč.
at
Kako
their
ne,
dock,
če bi bil
never
member
really
only
got a
chat
chance
prejšnjo
to
nedeljo.
ever recover.
Pred poplav sem pa igral z vami sklade.
That's the thing, is
What
that
do you mean?
it's all too easy for another team
Ja,
to
ti ni
just
pa mišljal
stroll
že
on
naprej,
in
ja. Širok.
during that engagement. But
To pa
a
ni
little
res
bit of a
crunchy.
slower down pace here for Krizzy, already a couple eliminations to his name. So
Jaz jih
we'll
nisem
have an
igral.
opportunity to find
Ja,
things out,
če pa
but
tebe ni bilo,
a
to ni moj
nice
problem.
breakthrough of builds, and it is just non-stop pressure here for
Pa vem, da
Krizzy.
sem pred poplavo igral.
Almost calling it
Nedeljo.
close as well, but the Man Thistle will be enough to actually confirm that final elimination. So now it's all about just spending what time they have left.
Kranči,
in
saj nisem
the
rekel,
game
da me memberi ne podpirajo. Ampak jaz rečem, da nekdo ni member, kor pa da postane member, pa misli, da lahko ukazuje, da naj to pa to delam. Ali kaj mislim? Jaz vidim, da folk postane member zato, ker me hoče podpreti, ne zato, da mi ukazujejo, kaj početi. To je razlika.
Old Bill fight that we saw go down at the very start of the game.
To je razlika.
It's nice how everything moves around. So a few teams have already fallen around, but you can see that everyone has their own little route they're kind of going through in this early game, fighting and not hopefully all inning a lot of the times. A lot of the teams that we see back and forth.
Že
Ball
po to
out
stojim.
Scott over at Shattered Slabs for them.
Sem razmišljal, da dam member only chat, sam zdaj pa ne vem, če bom dal.
Also slightly challenging. They want to be able to make it towards that 8th, 9th zone. Really healthy, good on surge. That'll be the biggest challenge here from Slabs. So many teams, so much action. They can only handle, you
It's a
know,
taskbar.
just as much
A
as
se
they
jaz ga
can.
tudi vidim, what the fuck.
But at the same time, this is a great opportunity for Alex and Bala to collect some much-needed surge tag damage, and something they definitely seem to be keeping their eyes on.
Shopping
Just
Godolo.
kind of taking peeks where they can, shots where they find openings, without having to eat any in return.
Ne,
It's
da
always
noben ne bo
ideal,
pisal.
so you can actually keep your heels
Verjetno mu
in
dal
tow.
naslednjo igro.
And
Sem
it's
videl,
taking their
kako
time
si,
to
ja.
farm. I mean, this vault opening as well, a really nice upgrade in terms of
A če jaz
weaponry
dam,
and heals
probam
available
vsak
now
mi je dati nekaj
for
za
Alex and
memberje
Bala.
ven, zato da pač kot zahvalo, da je nekaj zraven, ampak ne želim pa, da je folk member sam zaradi tega, ker pač
Just keep your eyes on these two names, Bevies, Pablo
večkrat
Wigu.
tudi če takrat, ko sem skozi igral Fortnite, sam pač, zdaj je tudi malo težje, pač folk ne uživa v Fortnite, pa to in je tudi malo bolj bedno streamati, ker folk ne bo gledal, tudi sploh pa če igram sklade, z membri folk še manj gleda.
A lot of the people that give them unfavorable options off spawn, they're not
Ampak je
here.
fora, da
It just means that these guys have everything
da je
going
to
right
sam
for them
bonus
to
hoče, da je zraven,
get
ne da
first
folk
place
zato
by
rata
hundreds
member,
of
da bi
points
z njimi
if-
igral,
if
ampak
they
zato, da
played how they just did
me podprejo, pa
week
pač
ago.
za
So it
zahvalo
should be
pač
very
igram z njimi,
exciting
veš
for
kaj
Bevies
mislim.
and Pablo Wigu.
Ampak ja, prejšnji vikend je bil member only, kadar je FNCS je vedno member only chat, zato ker je vedno ob
finds an
nedeljah.
opportunity to look for a quick and easy elim, and it's going to be the
Kako se
deal.
ne pizdim?
It seems like
Sam razlagam folkom.
fighting for his life right
A,
now.
Blerka,
against
nič
the
nisem
likes
bil,
of
tole
Bevies
prva
and
igra.
Pablo Wingu, and Savage finally going to be able to provide a little bit of backup next to Vidil. This will cause Bevies to pause for a moment, but it's all about the build destruction right now. Unlikely
Pač
to
drugače bi
find
ful
Mr.
rad
Savage and
videl,
Vidil in a situation
da je kaj božga
they
še
wanna
tako, da
get
bi z
pinched.
membri lahko delal, pa da bi bilo
So
folku
Mr.
tudi zanimivo
Savage
gledati.
definitely being mindful of any teams that might be
Zer A bi
more
prav, da
south
bi
of his
mogel
current location
te
here. He's
Discord
got
igre
Bevies
igrati z
and
membri,
Pablo
ker bi bilo
directly in
dejansko
front
dosti
of him,
zabavno,
but he
po
knows
moje, to moram
just
probati.
how quickly other teams will look to line up for an easy third-party
To je res fiksno.
opportunity. And just like that, Savage already eating.
Ne, tle ne šteje sam
Not half
zmaga.
himself.
Točke, pač na koncu moraš biti top 9 na tem turnirju, da greš na LAN. To ni unka, je reboot round ali pa karkoli. Zdaj z malo sliku. Kdaj, Lukac?
Of one of the most notorious duos that wins box fights so fast. It's gonna be a long 3 hours for those guys here today. Moneymaker and Finayan. We saw their chance over.
Ampak mi je pa žal, da nisem naredil ScorpLZ igra ta poletja. Nisem nekaj pol razmišljal o tem, ampak sem pa razmišljal, pač sta se s Pinčem pogovarjala. Pa sicer mislim malo bolj narediti v IRL fori. Sam pa so se pa njih poplave tudi zgodile. Ok, Lukac. Hvala ti. Prej sem imeli iti. To da ScorpLZ igre bom probal narediti. ScorpLZ igre so drugač najbolj taka stvar, kad dam največ memberjem nazaj, no. Mislim, imajo šanse dobiti 50 €, ne. Sam moram eno mapo mogo narediti, kaj še nisem, pa da je nekaj nad sajt, ampak kaj. Rad ti bazen zrihtala, pa nisi izkoristil. Kaj, da bi memberje na svoj bazen povabil, Pinči? Lukac, ja, iz Gang Show te ne moram spomniti, potem kakšno imaš ime tukaj. Ker tam itak nisem slišal vaših imen kot prvo. Kot drugo, na Gang Show sem se slikal z več kot 100 ljudmi, a veš, to se zelo težko zapomnim. Ampak iz tega, da pa sam v chatu vidim tvoje ime, pa sploh si ne moram zapomniti. Jaz sem posle ljudi mi sploh ne pove njihovega imena tam, kako imajo na YouTube.
Well, of course, the big talking point going into today is that Pablo and Bevies are actually uncontested at their drop spot for the first time. It's going to be interesting to see how they develop their Storm Surge strategy. But now they've actually managed to capture that vault at their POI. Of course, they're guaranteed that, of course, if it does spawn there. So it's really, really great stuff from them. There's no other teams around to capture this vault. And of course, they are actually able to capture a cache as well. We see these guys fighting for their cache a little bit right now. So I think that could be what their Storm Surge strategy is for this game. I'm kind of intrigued as to how that's going to develop though. Will they try and fight a little bit more for Surge, or will they try and base up?
Kilksi, vprašal si me, kako se imenuje tej igri, ko iščeš, kjer mesto je, pa sem ti odgovoril že 5krat, pa še zdaj sprašuješ. GeoGuessr. Zadnjič odgovorim.
You just have to assume the best sort of outcome for them.
No, absolutely, and 100% the other thing too. They're going to
fight. Nikoli boš v Grand Finals, zakaj ne rečeš Tysonu? Vse on je dosti dober. Razlož mi, zakaj bi Tyson hotel z mano igrati. Tako da bi ki igra amatersko košarko, bi ga eno vprašal, kdaj boš v NBA, pa je rekel nikoli, zato ker pač nima niti mentalitete, da bi do tja prišel, a pa je že v bupu, pa še nima mentalitete, da bi bil pro, tudi ne želim biti pro. Ampak, to je, da bi pol v basketu, ki igraš amatersko, da bi ti en rekel, je pa sej reč LeBron Jamesu, pa se on je dosti dober, ne, da te pač da v NBA, pa da boš dober igral tam, ali nekaj na to fora. Pač what? Videj, sklada, fuck je tajne.
They're definitely not alone.
Plačamo 500 €. Tyson, če igra iz Mersa, še lahko dobi 50 € v eni sezoni. Samo 500 €. Tyson 500 € je, kada en men da 5 centov.
Because there is so much to be won at the Rift Island, not only in the capture point, but just if you're able to establish good positioning at height, then you can start maybe looking to try and control the lobby, control some of those teams that are looking to rotate further inwards. That have been stuck a little bit more towards the edge of zone, not giving them those free dead side rotates.
A ti lahko dam 5 centov. Ne možeš generati 5 centov, je nemogoče. 1 € je najmanj. Ti dovolijo manj. Zato ga par PayPal nič od tega ne dobijaš. Od 1 € PayPal vzame 37 centov. Skemajo. Od 5 centov bi oni vseh 5 centov vzeli, če bila to opcija.
Rocking in, it's always weird when I don't get to say Clement and Floki, but it's all good, you know, different times, same region.
Hey, you never know though, with the way that teams have seemingly been playing musical chairs almost, it feels like switching up duos every so often. I mean, wouldn't be surprised to see some teams look to return, but right now focus here on today, Belusi, Vortex.
Lukac, iskreno, čisto iskren bom, iz Gang Showa se vas bom zelo težko spomnil, ker Gang šovu je bilo dejansko do zdaj največ ljudi, odkar se ukvarjam z YouTubeom, da so se slikali z mano. In ni šans, da se spomnim točno, kjer hudi si imel pa to. Sploh pa, ker je že dolgo nazaj. Če imaš donacijo 50 €, koliko ti dobiš? Ej, ne vem iskreno, sam vem, da PayPal ima tako, da manjša kaj donacija, več vzamejo. Se pravi, večja donacija, ko dobiš, več donacija, ko jaz dobim, več jaz dobim ven, ne? V primerjavi z 1 €. 1 € je pač jaz najmanj dobim, če tako gledaš procentualno, ampak koliko pa dobim s 50 €, ti pa ne znam povedati, ker nisem nikoli gledal. 4 mesece je dolg nazaj. Vidite, kde je? Jaz sem zdajle v T2-ju. Zdaj to še nisem videl uživo, kaj ti govoriš. Ali? Ne vem. Roko, taj se spomnim, ko sem te videl že večkrat. Pa tam si igral z Baleksom tam, v 1v1.
The only thing Pablo might want right about now, though, is a little bit more ammo for that flapjack rifle.
Ti si s bratom prišel. A si to ti Tikson?
Ja
sem mislil, da je tvoj brat ful mlajši. Najvišja donacija, ki si dobil vseh časov, 251 € mislim da, od Vida. Ja, sedaj še živ, vidite.
Look at it just a little ways underneath that Rift Island and honestly just waiting for a prime time rotation here. And maybe a little bit more damage to collect as well, but then again, when you're sitting 400 plus above as is, you can definitely put a little bit more emphasis on the rotation itself.
That's what I wanted to mention. I mean, we haven't really seen these guys in a position like this.
Znači, ne nam 250 točke kril bom pol da prvo. Ne, ker še vedno se pretvoril evre. A nisi me nič šitil roka.
Everything looks good for the duo. Meanwhile, Pablo Bevis found their next target. Blow on Surge, but it's business as usual as they get up very fast.
Kruksi, zakaj misliš, da prideš na stream pa prva stvar, da je pametna, ker nekaj časa napišeš v chat, da napišeš, če grem igrat 2v2. Pomej si, kaj gledam turnir. Halo? Kaj ne igram? Jaz to kaj finale to. Finale je last chance-a.
On the other side, it looks like, and he takes a big shot, has to back up. Yeah, that slurp can
Še vedno below Surge.
He takes so much damage and he'll go down. Another slurp popped. They're gonna be able to big chill. Surge actually knocking them down too. Pink by himself, and he knows this.
Da, še vedno sta below Surge. A ne, zdaj sta above.
These guys just have such a soundproof strategy. A little behind on damage, but they can just keep fighting box to box to box all the way to the next zone.
Definitely not at the damage threshold, though, that we've come to expect by this point from this duo.
Kruksi, ej.
And Pablo and Bevis know it. I mean, they're working a little bit against the clock there, not trying to take too much damage from these actual Storm Surge tags. Hallie and Nefrizi find themselves in a similar position now, just a little bit below. One good shot on that pistol would be all it takes, but this is the real challenge in a set lobby, Shayo.
Videk, ja vem, zdajle vem, da unek material je tudi druge igre poleg Fortnite-a, da vas ful razočaram zadnje 2 tedna, ker je dejansko ful velik Fortnite-a. To zato, ker je bilo ful velik turnirjev. Edini dan, ker ne je bilo, je Jusko zasral. To se upravičujem. Ampak mogoče... Zdaj nema je res ali ne, Pinča, a je možno, da v ponedeljek pride CS2? Dani, kaj tvoj dedi je še enkrat v bolanci? Kaj, zdaj le išal, kaj Dani? Najprej je podloga. Ja, zatestirate po moje dubu na epicentru.
7 below for Bevis, Pablo Wingu. Haven't really seen them in the spot at all. At least on the back half of Major 3. Usually they're going to be...
Aja, by the way, chat. Vsi ga hočete igrati na epicentru. Epicenter bo imel tudi Fortnite turnir. Trio si bojo. Pa če uporabite kodo SCORP22, je cnej, da se prijavite. Tako, če imate, pač se pejte prijaviti na turnir na epicenter. Jaz bom drugač šut na epicentru, vsake nete, 26. 27. je epicenter. Zaporaj turnir pa pač, ja, gledajte na epicenter spletno stran, pa se tam, pa se registrirajte s triotom skupaj.
Definitely a bit of an upset, I'm sure, for that duo, but for Bala and Alex, a nice refresh in terms of mats. Not much else though that they could really collect here off of Pablo and Bevi's, given all those
Ja, Pinči, ti bolj spremljaš, a
that we
veš.
had seen Pablo and Bevi's collect. I mean, they'd had to expend practically everything
Ljubaš
by
Terax.
that point. Shayo, right
A si
before
videl
they
nov video od
eliminated,
Mr.
just
Beasta? Sem
because
videl
of the fact
včeraj, ja.
that they were pressured not by the lobby itself, but just by the storm.
Sam sem
and
ful
they
razočaran na temu videu od
weren't
Mr.
able
Beasta.
to get their surge up high enough.
A veste zakaj?
While it is unfortunate, I mean, that's the thing, is that you've only got 5 games left to go, so adaptability at a rapid rate is a must.
Drug, poreda, PayPal je to ni banka, veš, kad ti pošlaš nekomu denar, ampak je donacija pač preko PayPala in PayPal toliko vzame, ja.
So these guys are not going to be looking too sad coming into game number 2. Meanwhile, though, we'll watch the rest of the lobby rotate. Pushistedo getting busy with it. Need to move up, and up. We're going to such a tricky part of the zone. You're not gonna be able to stay here for long. Zone moving 20.
Glaven razlog,
Got a lot of things.
da mi ni bilo všeč je, ko so rekli, pač kad Mr. Beast rekel, da je povabil folk iz celega sveta, ne? Ampak večina folka imajo samo korenine, iz tam ampak živijo v Ameriki že nekaj časa, pa so bili celo rojeni v Ameriki. Zaradi tega, ker kad poslušaš, recimo, sploh Slovenca, kad poslušaš, Slovenc zveni kot čisti Američan. Definitivno ni Slovenca, ne? A veš, to sem razočaran. Ilksi, ti me vedno nekaj vprašaš, pa trikrat me vprašaš, čeprav ti odgovorim. Moj nona je v bonci in slabo kaže, ko bo kmalu umrl. Ej, moje sožalje, drgač Dani, moje sožalje. Ej, tudi dedi nekaj časa nazaj. Slovenci od 2008 v Ameriki. Aha, si šel prav gledat, Boštjan. Ampak ja, veš, tako. Pač po jih ni, po ni pač dejansko letel folk iz celega sveta, ampak jih je večina iz Amerike, ker tudi drugi so bili tako, veš. Pa če me vprašati, bi mogel biti enka, ali živi trenutno v Sloveniji, ali pa pač da je bil, veš kaj mislim. A dejansko? Kako to, Boštjan? Pa že vem, tako se mi zdi, no, da bi mogel biti, veš. Pa se še zmer ful dober video. Ampak tako, a veš, večina folka, ki si poslušal, so imeli ameriški naglas. Kljub temu, da niso Američani bili, a ne? Mislim, da, niso bili. Če, ti serveri izgledajo ful slabši, kakor pa dejansko finale serveri, ne vem zakaj. Ne, Kranči, sej, Kranči verjamem, da imajo ali korenine s tam, pač da imajo korenine iz tistih držav, ne. Pač to čist verjamem. Sam pač jih je še zmer dal očitno prioriteto, da če živijo v Ameriki, ker mu je njemu tudi lažje, ne, ker si ne rabijo viz rihtati po tega. Počni še ti delati videa kot on. Chat, od enega videa jaz, tudi če bi imel, ker bi vsi Slovenci gledali video, bi jaz dobil lik 200 evrov ven. No, dobro, malo več, no, ampak. Mr. Beasta, če dobi on 1 milijon ogledov, dobi van denarja kar par jurčkov. Več, tle v Sloveniji ne dobiš. Jaz sem za 100 jurjev ogledov dobil 20 evrov. A veš. V Sloveniji ful malo dobiš na oglede, žal. Ful bi rad delal Mr. Beast videa, sam. Ne moreš delati takih videov, če ne dobiš toliko ven od videa, veš. Mr. Beast zaprav na en video 2 milijona, ampak ven dobi itak več, veš. Ma itak sponzorje, pa pošel od videa ful dobi. Tako, Kranči. Sage vadil upam, da hvala ta čat.
I've seen the box hit a little bit down, and now Vadil will go for the chase. No mats left, so he has to get this elimination wrapped around the box. The interrupt's insane. Vadil.
Ima pa evo, Sage je prišel zraven. Kar pa Fire Bro na hajtu.
And Curb looking good, stopping behind from getting towards that glacier. You want to stay so high elevated. I mean, Belusi, good shots right now, but you got to get towards the top side of this map. Bedmist available to be able to play catch-up slurps as well.
Vadil je dead, Savage zdaj solo.
It's still going on miles away from them.
Mora kar klačat.
Vadil got him to this spot, but how far can this rocket shine?
With no mats left, Shayo, I believe that Savage is in quite a tough spot.
Knock.
He's trying to do a desperado play, and it's not going to work out in his favor. Winds up falling to pressure from other teams breaking through his builds. Now Bala, same predicament. likely to be taken out by this team on height. And for Curb and Fire, bro, they're just doing their best to try and stay.
Kaizen, go tle klačat.
Charging towards that front side of zone from height. Kaizen now, another solo in
Vidite,
this
tudi on
lobby,
čovka.
trying to
Edite.
make it happen without Clement by his side, but with only 4 builds remaining, so many of these teams just in such a
Ne, nisem
tough
videl kranče,
position
sem da vem.
because they can't tarp. They just have nowhere left to run.
Ja,
They're
so da.
relying on just praying no one's going to be on the
A jaz sem
other
rekel, da boš
side.
začel z angleškim kanalom.
Lucia, though, has got all the way to this spot, passed all that turmoil.
Nekaj vmes sem sam probil streamati v angleščini, ampak ne splača se mi iti na angleščino, razen če mi v slovenščini ne bo mogel več pač prinesti to kruha, da je to moja služba, veš kaj mislim. Tako imam lahko SP, pa vsaj minimalca ven, bom v slovenščini delal. Zato ker preveč je rizika, da probam iti v angleščini. Pač vse, če bi v angleščini rata, bi bilo insane, ne, sam. Če mi pa ne rata, si pa lahko zasedem celo kariero, veš kaj mislim. Tyson je že kvalen, ja, ja. To je zunaj, ki še niso na lanu.
And that was all just Curb and Fire.
Ajde, da vidimo lestvico. Prav, top 9, chat, danes jih gre top 9 v... Top 9 jih gre na LAN, okej? Zaprav, zdaj sta zmagala Curb pa Firehunter z 7 killi, Lucia Default 2, Shatlex, Cryfalls, ne vem kdo sta te dva tretja, Kaizen Clement 4, Balafon, Alex Scott 5, Zeofishi 6, Jakey's Nexten 7, Vortex Belushi 8, pa Moneymaker F9 9. Vidimo, kje je Savage, pa Janis, pa Savage. Savage je dosti poklačen, aha, Savage vodili sta 20, tako da sta od top 9 stran 6 pik. By the way, sam 6 iger je tukaj chat, ni tako kot v finale, ki jih je 12. Kje imamo pa Janisa? Janis pa Rizom pa 33, da sta pa 8 basic number. Ampak top 9 je zaenkrat samo 52 pik. A ne, boljše da ni reboot round, bolj je... Pač tako res dobiš najboljše playerje za lana, ne? A na Twitch pa ne bi probal. Pač fora je chat, če hočeš v angleščini streamat, ali pa tudi video delati, moraš iti all in. Až da bi jaz hotel v angleščini, bi mogel v slovenščini, pa da slovenščini ne postim, bi mogel v slovenščini še vedno streamat od 3 do 6 ur, kakor pač je, ne? Pa kakšne videe dati vam zdaj, jih sicer full premal Diamant, to vem. Plus, pa bi mogel še vsaj 3-4 ure streamat na dan še v angleščini. A veš, to je... Prečna škoda, da bi dva kanala naenkrat pač v drugem jeziku. Daj bo spomini. Ja, nisem jih mogel poslati. Poslati bi mogel pač vse te klipe. Sam je problem, da se mi poplaja pa to. Zdaj, hvala Bogu, nekaj klipov imam tukaj. Ne vem, jih imam. Ja, imam. Ampak drugih pa nimam, ker moram na un server pridati, ne? Ali pa na streaming PC, tako da bojo kar zamaknjeni, tle žal nimam. Ja, sem tisti čas, ko si na Twitchu streamu, ti je ful dobro šlo. Takrat je bil Vorda še na mačkam boljšem kot prvo Strix. Kot drugo, pozdravim drugač. Kot drugo, sem imel še vedno 90% Slovencev, a ne? Da ti probaš dobiti folk, ki niso Slovenci, ker ti je valjda cilj, če si v angleščini, a ne, pač ne. Hočeš valjda imeti še vedno Slovenca, ampak nočeš, da je procent, da je 90% gledalcev Slovencev, hočeš, da je, ne vem, 2% Slovencev, ne vem, 5% drugih Balkancev, 20% Britancev, 20% Američanov, veš kaj mislim? To ti mora biti cilj, a ne? Dej not, Alex, kar en si s to slikco, hecam se. Kaj jem, ma iz Ikeje je te piškotke. A še ne streamaš na TikToku? Jaz bom ta teden dal za monetizacijo, dal za YouTube. Kaj, a si dubu že dal vsega? Tako sodja. Ja, Strix, se vem, da rab svoj cajt, sam pravim ti Strix, da jih zaradi tega, koga sem prej rekel, Tudi če mi je šlo dobro v angleščini, je fora, da bi jaz mogel, pač takrat sem se čist skuril, ker sem še angleško probal zraven. Težko je streamati 3-4 ure vsak dan v angleščini, pa 3 do 5 ur vsak dan še v slovenščini. Až to imaš skupaj, pač ok, 8-9 ur, ampak to je samo streamanje 8-9 ur. Pa če tako ka zdajle, ker ni nobene tako take igre, da bi res lahko igral po 8-9 ur skos, ga pa še toliko težje, a ne? A veš, vse do streamerjev streama po 8 ur, a ne? Sam se mi tudi zdi, da je eno, a ti streamaš 8 ur v enem jeziku, ali ti streamaš 4 ure v enem jeziku, pa 4 ure v drugem jeziku. Sploh če je, ker ni tvoj materni jezik, se moraš ful navaditi na začetku, ful več energije porabiš za streamanje v nematernem jeziku, dokler se ne navadiš. Ok, boš ne. Pa dobro, se tu si pol ful blizu. Se, če bi zrastel v angleščini, bi lahko nehal v slovenščini. Ja, sam ti moraš vedeti, da jaz ne bi nehal v slovenščini, dokler res ne bi angleščina 100% uspela, veš kaj mislim. Ti da priješ do tega je insane, ne? Težko. Ajde, joinite se. Probi igrati Countries Battle Royale, ko pa je to za en Battle Royale? Aj si nic dva? 40 ur do konca tega leta, maybe. Koliko pa imamo? Po sabo. Da vidim. Imamo pa 37,686. 2 jurja 400 do konca leta. Ni mogoče, ni mogoče. Niso več, chat, kaj enkrat priješ v slovenščini na 30,000 je vse počas, če delaš gaming content. Če bi delal IRL contenta ful več, pol mogoče, ja. Oziroma, da bi delal sam še IRL. Ne morem 2 jurja 400, chat, to je v 4 mesecih, kje. Followerjev nic ba. Aj pa joinite se na GeoGuessr. Da Not Alex streama zdaj na YouTubeu ali na TikToku danes? Veste, kaj bi jaz drugače rad videl, da YouTube naredi za memberje. Da, če si ti pri meni member, da lahko uporabljaš moje emojije tudi na drugih YouTube kanalih. Tukaj ima Twitch. Meni se zdi, da imam dejansko dosti dobre emote, ker sem se tudi takrat ful potrudil za emote, pa to, da so taki bolj zanimivi, pa tako moji. Pa mešani. Sam žal tega YouTube nima zaenkrat, upam, da bo kdaj to dal. Če bom imel kdaj 100 jurjev, ja, če bo šlo tako naprej, dvomam. Ko bom rekel, chat? Če TikTok propade, kar zelo dvomam, ampak če TikTok propade, oziroma če ga ukinjo, zaradi kakšnih koli razlogov, bom spet začel ful več rast. To definitivno, ker bo vsa ta nova generacija prišla pol na YouTube, ker nimajo več TikToka, ne? To bi lahko prišel do 100 jurjev v, ne vem, 5-10 letih. Ampak če pa TikTok ustane, pa po moje nikoli v Sloveniji. Strix, ma za Valorant rabam folk, pa nimam folka za igrati. A veš, da bi bilo zanimivo, solo to pa res ne mislim. Se IRL tudi streamam, zdaj sem ful več streamu IRL. Kaj da fuck smo pa to zdaj? Not touch. TP. Tiha me. Amen. Kaj da vem, kje v Ameriki je to? A se ni sam, da so dobri, a veš. Las Vegas. Sej, pač Strix, bolj je tudi, da je folko zabavno, da igram s tem folkom, a veš. Pa, kaj pa Pero? Pero bo pršo dostojiral, sam moraš vedeti, da Pero ne dela gaming contenta, a ne? Skoraj nič več. On dela pač ta content, ki ima večji reach od drugega folka še, a veš. V gaming content imaš ti sam gaming folk, a ne? Po levi strani se pelejo. Bolj naprej. Fish and chips. Pa je to Anglija. Alo? A vaj sam tako. Kva je sem kjo? Prav, lahko je tudi kakšna Irska ali pa. Avstralija, se je verjetno tudi. Ja. Meh. Ko ne vem pa, če je Avstralija ali Anglija, je vem ti. Kaj je to chat? Až ta Severna Koreja, pa ne je bila. Americans, pa to je definitivno Amerika. Na tabla je bila. Pa Sanadora, a ne, okej, čakaj malo. Ni, to je pa ali Južna Amerika ali pa Mehika. Mehika ni, ker ne zgleda toliko. Fak ne. Tam nekaj da, pa sem. Pa je bilo? Puerto Rico. Šarska. Kaj so same španske? Ka ful vem, kje je to chat. To Brazilija. Brazilija, ja. Kaj si videl, kaj je Fortnite tweetu za novo sezono? A ja, nekaj bi mogel biti. Spet Guatemala. Opet urit. Ajde, čakaj. Vem, da danes so 2000 so dali že ven, pa zdaj mislim, da je še eden bil lih pred kratkim, ne? Ajde, čakaj, to pa, da nam kaj spet likov, čakaj. Je to, no. Halo? Zakaj me ne logina na fucking Twitter, a ste neumni? Okay. Okay, Fortnite. Torej, ja, ta teaser sem že videl. Vse pač, kar lahko rečem, je, da tle vidimo Tommy Gun. Oziroma, ja. Pa nek prostor, pa neka luna tle, hrib. Nek hotel. Okej. Pa še neki so vmes dali samo očitki tle. Ampak mogli bi še neki dati kao, a še niso dali novega teaserja ven. Je dal kao... Volt je. A ja, kaj, da boš Tommy Gun noter, da bo čist možno, da je Volt je. Hoče res. Očitno bo Boombow, Mythic. Ok. Pa ostali Mythiki, ki bojo prišli. Gunner Stinger SNG. Foundation MK7, Mythic. Zig and Chop iz Reagan, to sploh ne vem, kjer je. Pa Overclocked, Pulse Rifle pa Havoc Pump. Ok. Pač on je rekel, on je napisal Cameras, Guards, Vaults and the best team in the business. Kaj če bojo res dodali take, tukaj so bili včasih Vaulti, a veš, da imaš skozi bossa tam, to bi bilo ful boljš. To bi bilo ful boljš. Chat, nekak, ne vem, a dam member only chat ali ne, pač vedno mi je, bo chat še bolj dead. Nova sezona je 25. V petek.
Trying to translate that to stay on the podium for game number 2. We're going to see what they can do from this box that is being pressured from a lot of sides. On the north, people are walking by. What's going on with Reason over that Stilts? They're also making their way into the game. Minetis, a little bit more success inside this game. Nice shot, good control, at the loot, max to max. Okay. They're looking very healthy this game.
But look at that pincer tactic from Reason and Giannis. One attacks the front side of the box.
Danes sem cel tak, ker sem včeraj do 4 zjutraj sem delal mapo včeraj. Od 9 do 4 zjutraj. Pa danes še pol.
So a nice, quick and easy elimination there for Reason and Giannis as they continue to rotate around, but a little bit more.
Kaj liga že glavno sezona? Nova sezona je 25. v petek. Da, kakšen valo. Ja, imeli smo watch party, nedolgo nazaj. To je bilo nazadnje. Pa čakaj, sam da pogledam. Watch party je bomo drugače zdaj imeli ta teden, po mojem malo več za Valorant.
Not just yet.
Sam pogledam, ker sem...
I see the mini signal in the sky, so I want to see what Mini Miner Man has to say about this one.
Mini Miner Man is thinking all the way back to game number 1 off spawn. Trip and Refs, they went down off spawn because they tried a 50-50 at those sort of caravan area. They've decided to split their drop very much like they did in grand finals. And of course, this brings a few more issues for them, but they are surviving off spawn, which is really, really great stuff from this team. We actually see Refscar dropping Trip his assault rifle, and whilst Trippin goes up on top of this base, we see Refscar actually going down, farming some materials to keep their materials afloat. Because remember, they don't get all of that metal in those caravans areas, so they need to try and gather as much of that material as they possibly can. So with 5 games remaining, they decided to split their drop instead of 50-50, so hopefully for them, I'm expecting
Kje si ti igral San Andreas, ki je bil updatean? Prav zunij je pač kupot si ga mogel.
Splitting the drop, splitting the responsibilities as well. The Tripper in there.
Danče ne vem, če kako bo takrat, če si iskreno.
As for Nebs and Hellfire, Nebs, he's got the man pistol, and he's also got his own MKSR rifle if he wants to try and find some extra tags in the process. And it does seem as though that's the primary idea here. Also potentially looking for a setup opportunity for when that Rift Island spawns in.
Yeah, that'll be the best.
Ja, po mojem sem ga prav na Rockstaru kupil sodja. A pa na Steamu, až da ne vem.
Slightly away, but so many people have that idea around them. I mean, the
Ne, je bil na Steamu, tudi, da si ga lahko imel.
The control you have, just the nice little game plan.
Čas, zdaj moram nekaj narediti, sem se spomnil za zavarovalnico, okej, tako da...
They'll go for free tags for people flying in. It'll be Jameson Reason. Rock
Da
through.
bom slike poslati mami.
Get a lot of the stuff that's available on this island, but at a cost of their HP. Should be fine. Have a lot of shields already. And afterwards, we'll be able to get even more from the capture point.
Just a great job, though, from Giannis and Reason to be the first ones to touch down on the Rift Island. Very common tactic. You'll see these teams looking to box up with brick around that capture point. And a successful endeavor for Reason and Giannis now. They'll be reaping the benefits of that immediate surge onto the Rift Island, but again, can't expect them to necessarily walk away from it for free. Granted, they do have a pretty good height advantage over some other teams, but wouldn't be surprised to see another team look to try and shuffle their way on up to Rift Island, maybe look to take the vault if possible.
Gotta keep accruing as much loot as possible. That's what it's about. Vortex Belusi, always kind of in that, not even passenger seat, but you know, back left seat where you can't even see the driver and maybe sometimes can check for a blind spot. Not as in control as what I'm trying to say of their destiny, major to major, final to finals, no matter who they're playing with. This time, though, some experience in the finals last week, paired with what stakes are up for grabs.
Tyson je že na lano, chat. Tyson je že na lano.
Game 1, early game, I think that was the issue overall.
To je za one, ki še niso na LAN
Just be
prišel.
able to make those late ones stay as a duo. Look good. Meanwhile, Rexy, I pumps you going down early. One of the first duos to go down in game 1. This time inside a fight, pressured because of surge, not enough damage. And as a result, they will go down. He talked about the split drop for F-Scarred and Tripper, and he talked about how they split this duo apart too inside this fight. 944 damage above. That is a record for what I've seen on the day.
That is a massive amount of damage to be above the threshold here, Shayo. This can be a full shift now for Refs and Trip to just prioritize positioning for whichever way these next couple of zones end up pulling. And as you can see, a decent amount of congestion already building as well on the west side of this zone.
That's on screenshot around
Great
that,
opportunity,
okay?
I think, for Refs and Trip, given that they are in a relatively dead side spot for the time being, to just look for a more central position, maybe try and play bouncer to any of these teams that are looking to shuffle in from the congested area.
You want your own space. You want to be able to do what you need to. Bevy's probably winning once again. Not having as many early fights to take, not having that free extra padding on their surge trash, and having everyone kind of just used to what happens now towards Rift Island and used to the drop in every single box earlier on. They're having a little bit more trouble staying so ahead on surge. Somewhat more reasonable zone overall for them to fight with as well. They try to surprise all the way up top, but seeing as Bevies is not going to be able to make that mantle inside the box, so he is allowed and welcome. The door is open. Please bring on it some more. Knock on it again, because we'll take that loot for free. Riz and Rad looking good right now.
I've never seen somebody be so prepared for another person to jump into their box than what Rad looked like in that moment. For Pablo as well, that shield crack sound possibly alerting some of the other teams on this island that he is not exactly in the healthiest position. He might have been just far enough that teams aren't able to hear the fact that his shields were cracked by the storm surge damage, but yet again, another crack here. And now for Pablo, it's gonna have to be a bit of a Hail Mary decision here. He needs to find some damage and find it quick. One good shot, two good shots could be the real difference maker here. We'll get a couple of minis to bide his time, but he is quickly running out, and it does not seem as though he's going to find a saving grace for many of these other teams in the lobbies dropping. Instead, that surge damage threshold getting further and further out of his grasp as a solo here to try and acquire those last couple of ticks of damage. It'll be an immediate drop off the zip line, but not enough time, not enough health. And one more time, Pablo and Bevies dropping relatively early on here in game number 2. Paco as well. Yet another player elimed by that storm surge damage. And it seems as though that damage threshold that we saw from Refs and Trip, it might be a very uncommon thing from the other teams so far today. So Refs and Trip have definitely got to be feeling pretty good about where they're at.
Kamikaze want to be there. That's some good damage. Honestly, I don't know what all these guys are doing that we're watching. Paco, Pablo, if I'm them, I'm just walking up to a box and landing a 500 damage pump shot. I mean, it's pretty simple, right? You just gotta do 600, 700 damage to stay above everyone else. Just land the big shot, right? No, it's not that simple at all. You can only wish. And so many people inside these boxes are gonna be low HP for Clement to do just that. Her Fire Bro, not looking as icy as last game. Getting a little bit more tropical with this one, and as a result, their rotation, their brain's gonna be tested now. They could keep going, jump into the ravine to the bottom left, be out of sight lines towards that right side, but I have no idea who could be waiting.
Some of these teams just trying to be built a little bit different here. And Curb and Firebro, while they don't necessarily have a whole lot to their name, they might be okay for the time being. Not really looking too comfortable as far as that damage threshold is concerned. Barely above 24 last we checked. But they definitely need a refresh of some sort. Refresh, whether it's for materials or for heals in general. Ammo can also go a long way. Trip and Refs, their damage threshold, again, still sitting plenty above where it needs to be. As these two now look to move a little bit deeper.
Ne, tle ni nobenega
A
Slovenca.
decent amount of traffic behind them as well. Trip and Refs have got to be aware of some of the congestion that's starting to build behind them.
Kakšni ste bili včeraj, Jusko?
And again, with some of those teams already entering just inside the edge of the zone, have to expect some of them
Ja,
might be
za
looking to get a
zavarovalnico
little
moram
bit of
screenshot
skybase
stvari
going
streamati.
and play a little bit of keep away from all these other teams trying to push in.
If you're Yanis and Reason right here, Taco, what are you doing to get in?
Full sprint, full send. That's really their only option at this
Gledao sam
point.
screena,
They
kako si
have
ti?
to basically just ignore everything that's going on behind them. They've got a clear
Ne,
line of
Luša ni
sight, and
Slovenc.
they're just doing everything they can, tarping as rapidly as they can,
Ta je
taking
Unka je
shots
Rus, ali
where they
ne?
might find an opportunity, but again, they know just how much ground they have to cover, and they know just how crucial it is to actually find themselves inside of the zone as quickly
na
as possible,
loading.
because if you get caught out on these edges, again, it's just so easy to then be further suppressed by not only the congestion working its way alongside you, but those other teams that are also already in position in zone in front of you.
100%. I'm liking their two-stop shop approach as well.
Ja, oni Slovenci, ko so igrali finala, so že hvalali, ja, direkt iz tam na lani.
Fake monster. Get all the other stress factors out of the way, and then wait a little bit, and then move because they have the time. Now, Firebro and Curve can do the same thing. They're looking to have these trees block off sightlines and get close to that glacier, but they don't have the same amount of time to get in. They don't even have the same amount of HP to be at that point. And, you know, you're talking about some of the tertiary stuff. The primary thing is they have no mats, so having the option to move up that glacier is not going to be a thing either. They have to stay down below. They are going to be able to get in for now, but you look at that next pull, never mind. Is that a collapse shot too? Both of them down, that's crazy.
Kaj mi naloda tega streama? A ne, tukaj zadnjih 9 duotov iz Evrope grejo na lunch.
They didn't even get an opportunity to breathe from entering the last
Tisti, ki
one.
bojo danes top 9.
But that's just how quickly the rug can get pulled out from underneath you. One moment, you've got the victor around, the very next, you're scrackling your way into the zone, and still, it's not good enough.
Ircek, ne moraš več biti, kaj ti govoriš. Naslednja sezona možemo go FNCS igrati. Tam teka so na lano.
That's the other thing too, is for a lot of these players, you kind of just have to take every single game as is. You just have to play it out as if the one before you didn't exist. Because the moment that your mental starts to fall, the moment you find yourself panicking or hesitating in your shot calling decisions, that's where things can really start to break down for you. For Kaizen, wary of the team on his backside, full pressure right now into his box, doesn't even get an opportunity to look for backup from Clement. Instead, Clement, he's gonna have to forfeit any sort of opportunity to look for a counter elimination. He knows 1 versus 2 is not the predicament he wants to be in, so he continues to just try and charge as deep into the zone as possible, but working his way from these low ground layers, it's gotta be so much paranoia, Shayo, when you just see all of these builds existing in front of you already.
Ja, bo druga sezona z FNCS, ja, unika so na lanu sam igrali, tako kot lanski Strix. Zadnjo sezono v Chapterju vedno igrajo ta LAN turnir. Tik so kvalifali, unika niso kvalifali, ne moramo nič. A jutri je duo Cash Cup.
In front of them, they're not going to be really focused on you, so more about saving grace than paranoia overall. Vortex Belusi inside that same spot. You see everyone have that bounce back as well. They're going to be focused on just staying low key, because if you edit, you're going to be in trouble. And luckily enough, we don't see Belusi go down. There is a minute for the zone to move, and it is a bounce back the other way. These guys have max position on it, so this res should come through easily. For everyone else, they've had experience coming up this mountain. Now it's time to go down. The most important thing is just to build behind yourself and build exactly where you're going, like Clement did. Is a solo right now, has a few more mats to roll with. I think it'll last him about 1 or 2 zones. Has to be very careful here. It's all about blocking your front side and then moving, but not moving too fast. Clement focused on everything. Can't watch his feet, slides, and he's down.
Oh man, that is painful, but it just looks as though Clement was so focused, Shayo, on making sure that those teams in front of him were going first. You could see him trying to hang along the edge side of that storm, maybe even looking for an opportunity to dip into the storm for an easier rotate away from everybody else, but man, one step too far, and that's his own demise. Definitely a tough one to go out on, but happens to the best of us.
Now Tripper and Vidil, we saw both their POVs. Hen's also down as well on the backside. Tripper and Resguard, what a good rotate to get in front of the whole lobby and actually do that a little bit of an L. Vidil right behind them. Now they're going box and box, tandem, Resguard.
Oni žasno, ne, sam Richton skleza za vrvalnico, pa kar ne fucking ne dela. Moram tja priti.
Whatever they can to get Savage to play on their terms. Vidil's gone all the way ahead. Savage caught up with him. Height now, really focusing this duo. They're a bit too high. Misedit possibly to buy them a little bit of time. Hellfire below them too. Nebs beside. Tripper still in the game. Behind Hellfire's walls is Chapix and Walks, who made a really good rotation on that 7th zone to get in position for these zones to start. They've stayed ahead of it just like Firebro did in that first game, and now they basically have it for free as everyone else has to focus on this grueling tundra that's below them on the ground. Vidil, a nice catch as him and Savage set up a trap for one person to walk into their box. He's down. Altensi gone. Vidil, a few more mats to work with, but now it's his final boxes. Beam from the bush. Savage cannot make it on the backside. Now it's just trapped down low on the ice.
Savage getting picked off there could mean a lot of trouble here for Vidil, although Vidil will find a moment to breathe. A legendary slurp juice as well off the body of Chap. That is a huge... He barely gets it off in time. Still have to expend a couple of slap splashes as well, but the team on height, that's Uguay, that's Wox, now taking notice of Vadil, but Vadil doing everything in his power to continue targeting the low ground. Quick opportunity to try and farm a little bit off these trees, but Howley doing what he can as well as solo, but this is a prime position here for Uguay. Uguay will drop no more mats to his name, so instead he's going to try to play Disruptor on the low ground. Challenge to the backside, but it's going to be Uguay knocked first.
This is just nuts, and he found a little bit more room, but it's not enough. Wox gets him down, but it's Howley with the steal. I can't believe that. Vadil tossing the whole game to a coin flip.
Kdo je zmagal chat? Pa nekaj je bilo Vadil. Opet sem. Vadil pa Serge sta druga. Tretja sta bila 4 kili. Protok folka, ki je bilo gor, pa nista toliko dobro pol odigral. Če sta bila druga, sam tretja 4 kili, pa sta kar na drug mest prišla. Kaj z Janisom? Janis pa ne igra nekaj dobro, 15 je bil.
Vadil dropped him to where he least expects it on the low ground because Vadil had his focus shifted almost entirely to Uguay and Wox. And honestly, for a second there, when you see Vadil capitalize on a shot like that, you almost think that he's just going to clutch it out. I mean, how many times have we seen him win those sorts of situations in the past? But really nicely played as far as timing is concerned on Howley's end.
Yeah, Howley's just nuts in that clutch. I want to see the reaction of the desk because that one was just too clean.
Clean as a whistle, Shayo Taco. Thank you very much. I'm with the analyst Takata and analyst Levin, by the way. I'm here for this. Listen, that caught a lot of people off guard, including us guys, right? Takata, Howley with the steal. You could see in his reaction that he was probably more shocked than you.
That was disgusting, Ian. I mean, I was literally jumping out of my seat when I saw that back-to-back. It looked like the game was finished. It looked like it was concluded with Uguay and Wox up above. But like Shayo said, that one slurp juice really changed everything.
I'll be so real. You think Howley's hiding in the shadows? Howley is the shadow. Nobody knew where he was. He was just lurking about. Look at this. He's in a bush. Nobody even has a clue where he is. Hitting every single shot as well. Vadil just drops down into his boxes. Like, I honestly, in that endgame, I didn't even realize. I thought it was just like a 1v2 in that situation at the end. I thought the game was done. But Howley to steal it away, like Shayo says, what a game from him. And I love how humble his reaction was. Because if that's me, Takata, like you, I'm jumping. I'm jumping, I'm screaming.
I'm throwing the chair.
Genuine smile, you know?
All right, let's take a look at how that victory there has affected our standings and just the entire game, really. Of course, this is a very manuable circumstance here. We're going to see it chop and change as we roll along here. Kerb. Look at Fire, bro. They maintain that top position, which is always a beautiful thing. But, you know, we talked about Vadil and Mr. Savage coming into this, Levin, and they showed up big here. And they've leapt up 10 places. Good performance.
Yes, very, very strong performance. Again, we got them in endgame, and they were in a much better situation loot-wise, Takata, which I think definitely helped out in terms of that endgame. And overall, when you look at this duo, I think one thing that has to be stated is, as much as we're all Mr. Savage fanboys, right? I'm the biggest one here, realistically. Vadil needs his flowers. He needs his flowers because this guy at times has been so elite in throughout his career, and this season especially. When he's asked to frag, he'll frag. When he's asked to lead the team and tarp and claim low ground and do all the things you expect an IGL to do, he can do those things effectively. And to hold on as long as he did in that game, big.
Look, there's a reason he's an FNCS champion. Levin, Vadil, Savage. This is what I love to see, right? It's crazy what happens when they actually get off spawn and make late game.
Uguay and Wox as well. Showing up here, Levin, in this game too here. You know, a lot of eyes on them now moving into game 3.
Yeah, that felt like some old school EU action. Uguay versus Vadil. I thought we were turning the clocks back a bit, but for this duo, seeing Uguay up on high, it's been so long, I feel like, since we've got to see something like this at this stage. I think the big thing is obviously they ran out of mats, right? They ran out of gas a little bit, and you can see where they were just sort of creeping towards the end on the last little cone here, where they're like, do we drop down yet? Is the timing right? And it didn't quite work out for them. They got stretched a bit too far. But again, that was just pure class from Vidil to really stop Uguay. Didn't even really see it coming. I'm excited, though, by the prospect of this team being involved in these endgames to come.
Yeah, I mean, it's refreshing to see these duos going head-to-head. They bumped up 20 placements on the leaderboard from almost closing that game out on height, but also Howley from that VR, 25 placement points up the leaderboard, and not only that, motivation for the upcoming matches.
Huge, huge jump. And we're going to see some teams dropping as well as moving up. Let's take a look at 11 to 20 here as well. Of course, we're going to see lots of movement. Trip and Refsguard, 31 places up. Strong, strong stuff, Takata.
Looking dangerous, looking lethal. Refsguard, Trip, veterans. We talked about them in the pre-show. I'd love to see them popping off here, making use of all that legendary mythic loot, getting those refreshes, getting those elims. It's just, you know, I just puts a smile on my face. But once again, with those solo clutches, it can only last so long. They need to be up as a duo to claim those high point matches in the late game.
Yeah, I think the key for that duo is, of course, it's early doors, right? You know, the big jump up. It's game 2. They didn't really get to play game 1 outright. They got sort of a limbed off spawn quite early. These guys are not going to be 50-50 off spawn, right? Minnie talked about in his little segment, if these guys are actually going to get the chance to play out games, we're going to see that consistency from them. They're going to get out, they're going to be proactive in mid-game, they're going to be way above Surge than everybody else because these guys are used to getting Surge in much more difficult lobbies. Again, it's just about picking up the pieces in the end game and making things click there so they can stick and get a bit more points than what they're currently getting.
Yeah, Levin, do you expect to see these guys continue to leap up? And just a reminder for you guys.
Klasičan da Wolfus. Bil si telefon ga spala po stranicah. Kako ti je to ratalo?
Top 9 advance to the final.
Kako ti je to ratalo?
This is the last chance major, which means the EU
Ača,
teams
si moram
that
pa še
finish
poslati
here
stvari
in the
hitar.
top 9 will be the last to take spots in the last chance major from our region. So you can't underestimate how vital every single game here is, Levin. And every single time you jump up, whether it's from 50 up to 40, 40 up to 30 and onwards, it's vital, right?
Yeah, it's huge. And I think, you know, in terms of asking me what am I expecting, I think game 1 threw me off the scent a little bit. I was a bit like, what are we getting here today? I don't know what's being cooked up. After game 2, I know what's cooking. I know what I can expect to see, and I'm ready for a meal. I'm ready for a big meal today.
Oh yeah, feast is being cooked. I mean, some things I want to see as well. Pablo Bevy's not the best 2 games to start it off. I want to see this duo kind of show what they're really capable of, but also that cutoff for top 9, qualifying to globals. Like you said, Ian, 52 points game 1, jumped all the way to 82 in game 2. So it's a rough competition, and these duos are gonna have to do their best to make it.
Levin, all this talking about cooking's got me hungry. I'm sitting here hungry now, bro. But if you're going to say you know what's cooking, what do you think's cooking for the next game? Who do you expect to perform? Who's popping off?
So really want to see Pablo and Bevies start to cook, because for me, the problems we're seeing them having aren't the kind of problems we would have expected, right? When it comes to this duo, the only issues you would have seen them having would have been things to do with off-spawn, right? Of course, if they're contested, if there's a team third party in off-contest. But in these couple of games, you've seen them, you know, going down on Surge, losing fights you expect them to win. They have to start to turn that around, and I think they're going to start to see that and see them finally cook.
Well, it's crazy to think that after this next game, we'll be at the halfway point. We are flying through this last chance major. Let's get right back into the action with Taka and Shaya.
Thanks so much, Ian, 11, and Takata yet again. And look, we all want to see exactly what these teams are cooking up for us here today. We've seen a couple of interesting strategies already, but so far, Shaya, it really just seems as though a lot of these teams are just trying to play to their own strengths.
Yeah, they're just filling it out. You know, first 2 games is usually where you have that, you know, plan on paper and you want to see how it reacts to the actual field itself. And after these 2 games and a bunch of, once again, winter zones, it's all about looking to see what you can do next in game 3. How do you adapt to some of these harsher zones that are happening overall in the EU?
It's always tough, right? When you're seeing these teams trying to make these almost impossible rotations actually happen. But game number 3 might be the difference maker here for our teams today, as we're ready to finally head in.
Game number 3, teetering on that halfway point for a bunch of these teams, and lots to be asked for some of the people that are playing today. Takada mentioned at the very end, Pablo Bevis looks so good inside that grand finals lobby when it comes to possibly different competition, different stakes now. Not as sticky, and after that, everyone else fighting off spawn. They're going 50-50 over and over again, from Creaky all the way to Racetrack and across the map. There's this trouble off spawn.
So many names being lit up in that Elim feed already, and Fury might just find himself added to it, trying to dance around this building as best he can, a Creaky compound, but it's gonna be Vexahagen who gets the first strike here, and the second now for Dabiel and Vexy. A nice double eliminations to get their game started off right. Will be able to now loot up everything at the Creaky compound, at least until another team decides to dabble on over, but winning that initial 50-50 is a huge swing for your confidence.
Absolutely it is. Good points, good momentum. That's exactly what you want to see. Dill Savage actually getting a good start to a tournament is very nice too. Lots of control for these guys inside these games. You can only imagine it gets better. Prop Z winning up against Hype. Cringe trading it out though as Anki goes down. Honest and Reason gonna be picked apart as well. Citra and Slot said, hey, they weren't here in game 2, and we saw them kind of lurking around after they didn't appear on our POI. So how about we actually interact with them this time and get some free damage off?
Yeah, Citra just playing like a watch guard almost over at the Stone Tower, and definitely a little bit of risk involved there for Giannis and Reason splitting up, trying to, seems as though they're trying to really collect between Crude Harbor and the Beep and Bounce that far north of the map. They've definitely got to be careful, because again, when you know there are other teams relatively close to your vicinity, have to expect it's only a matter of time for it to look to push in against you. Giannis, though, was definitely revived by Reason, so that's always nice, but this immediate 2v2 now, no time for any sort of pause in the action here. For Giannis, already lost his shield in the process. Reason trying to connect. Outside peek not going to go his way. And now it's a farm for Metal, farming anything, because Reason, he only has 2 builds. Citra, on the other hand, with 1 build to his name, so it's not like he's in all that much better of a spot. Chest opening, though. And he still has the drum shotgun as well to work with. Citra just doing what he can to break through some of these builds.
It's interesting how less of builds people just have in spots like these, because it's not easy trees or wood to go around. It's tough metal to kind of break down. Giannis gone for the moment. It's all up to Reason now. Big shot in front of him. The spray can't connect after the fact. Double siphon up for the team. Slots the side trip. If these guys want to be dodged in terms of the off-spawn fight, they will find it again and make sure it goes their way.
Have to keep in mind, though, we already saw what happened in game 1 with Wox and Uguay choosing to venture over towards that Crude Harbor area, since they're split between that Aegis Temple and Frigid Frog. So wouldn't be surprised if they had the same idea to look for that third-party instance. Here at Mega City, though, for Lucia and Steno, a little bit of a different story to be told. Seems as though they might just be biding their time to look for high card, maybe get a vault opening in the process.
Want to be able to get that loot. 121 points for Curb and Firebro up top. Looking good just hanging off for now, but no one really breaking past everyone else in the competition. It's really nice to see how these guys are adapting to that 6-7 zone change. Doing a really good job at rotating when they have advantage. Lucy Vortex, unfortunately, looks to be business as usual. 1 player down, a little bit of trouble, but they're doing good on the day still. And make it to that top 9 and stay inside it easily.
Might be a tough spot here, though, for Belusi as he continues to just chill inside of these bushes over at Naughty Nets. And for Hen and Vosk, I mean, one thing that we've talked about before that we saw Vidil and Savage struggle with during those finals in Major 3, they couldn't really translate their drop spot into ample surge damage to put them in a position where they could actually play those mid to late games like what we've seen from them so far today. And so for Hen and Vosk, knowing that they're contested by this other duo, it does give them that opportunity, I think, to look for that surge damage that can be so difficult to collect.
It's very difficult, and it is very uncomfortable too to be contested at that spot. It's also tough to see that, you know, the people that are contesting you are so high up on the leaderboards too. As Hellfires will find their own way there. Everything going good for them right now. And it was really interesting to see these guys in that last game rotate and be just slightly lagging behind everyone else, because usually they're really on top of rotations, end up going early sometimes too. Especially for winter zones, I've had some of the most experience with it inside Major 3. Firebro and Curb.
Okay.
And win games, can play position, but can also...
Abi sam lik zdajle vse poslal. Zdajle sem vse poslal.
Two walls you can't edit, Cohen on top of you as well.
Zdaj sem slike pošiljal po to chat za zavarovalnico.
Just seems as though Fireball might have dropped one layer too many there. Didn't seem as though he had the full intention of trying to actually slide that low from his teammate Curb, and Curb now waiting to see if he can look for an opportunity to pick up his reboot card, I'd imagine. But it's not going to be easy with Hen and Vask centrally
Jusko sam probral.
looking to hunt out anybody else who might still be
Nisem napisal kaj je bilo kaj tam.
hanging out in that area. Howling the Freezy though, just east of the Citadel, and trying to leverage some of that height for some damage as Clement. It's a pretty big shot.
Evan Kaizen still fighting at it. Brutal Bastion was just a place of rotation for them last time. Now they can stay in it for a bit longer due to the zones. Really getting pressure though and run through all their builds once again. A bit more scarce on this side of the map, especially off this drop. Dyson though, finding pressure for Clement to capitalize on, but he has lost a ton of health, so...
Zdaj bi se naročil pico ali ne? Lej, tako. A bi razmislil, a si lahko to vizi prvoščaš, brez da ti pač to vpliva na šparanje ali karkoli? Drugo, a si res to klačen, da je raboš? In tretje...
Unfortunately not going to be enough with the toss around there. And now Pixie just looking to disengage entirely and realize that there's another team
zato ga zdaj gledam, Abi, a to misliš?
Into this battle. Decent amount of max being expended. It's all Pixie just trying
Abi,
to
se tudi jaz sem danes,
doing everything he can to try and
sem še delal mapo, pa to se prav lesedevi.
have we seen
Zdaj moram, zdajle, dokler ne dobim svojega studija, se mi po mojem ful splača, da čim več mape delam, tudi če pač manj streamam, da čim več map provam za vas narediti.
POI to control by any means.
Se mi zdi, da se splača.
Yeah, you can have so many things happening from all sides.
Liner,
Mini Miner's opinion. Mini, what's going on in this game?
No, daj Juško, ajde. Ej, Juško, kdaj lahko igra une pingvine pol?
Just got off the back of a really solid game of 4th place with eliminations as well. And where this duo really shine is in their mid-game aggression. We see them getting a little bit of surge off spawn just to try and keep themselves afloat. But where this duo really try and go for that aggressive plays is just outside of their drop spot. What I like about what the way they actually rotate here
Včasih ti daš igrala streama, ne veš, da streamaš tam. Ja, sam zaigrala, ne vem kaj ne delam, da bo folko zanimivo, Abi. A sam pač grem nekam in to je to.
They can actually get to that area a lot quicker. They can actually sneak up on teams and do this little 3-2-1 play, which actually gets them an elimination off the back of this. Absolutely perfect stuff from this duo. And as we've seen so far today and previously throughout this whole season, when this team are aggressive in mid-game, when they're able to get those eliminations, they usually have a good game.
Some nasty shots there from Nebs and Hellfire. I mean, imagine what it's like for Astral.
Ja, to je res, Abi, ja, to je res. Korn me izbila v delo.
To react even.
Zato tudi ne rabim GoPro, da bi tisto streamal.
All these teams
Realno.
in this lobby. As now Pablo Bevies, they've got to be careful here. It's already a knock onto Bevies by Refs and Trip, and a collection on the elimination there as well for Trip. So now Pablo forced to try and fight this alone.
To je prvi.
But it seems as though Refs and Trip, they're a little bit more preoccupied.
Zabil sem čas, to je prvi. Drugi vem, da je Savage.
Pablo and Bevies maybe regretting having challenged for that
Drugi
cash
vem,
in
da
the
je
first place,
Savage.
but again, you kind of have to if you want the resources necessary to carry you through that mid.
Hvala, Vigo, pa Beviš, nula pik.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem to be Pablo and Bevies' day as much as it was inside the finals.
A nek no Neymar.
We're trying to work on that Rift Island checklist as well.
Tyson je že na lano, čat.
See what they can do, but without Bevies, this will be tough. Pablo can get him up, and this has happened before. He spawns back in on the island, and everything looks fine and good. Lots of loot for them to be able to split. Just gotta find one game for these guys to make sure they're locked in. Fire Bros also back in tow. Cost Scorp a lot of his
Jusko?
to get him here, but it's always nice having a teammate to play with. People have heard this reboot. They want to challenge Fire Bro for it. Hopefully they make it into Storm.
But drawing things back, though, to the Pablo Bevies discussion, it almost starts to make you wonder if this is a duo that might have maybe recognized the amount of pressure from the expectations that so many people had. You know, you see how well they perform when contested at that secluded spire. So for them,
a nije v Dirkiju. Gdje sam vas slišal da v Dirkiju će ni to lan, itak da ni to lan. Lan je naslednja sezona.
They're a team that has ample experience, so I'm certain that they can overcome the mental obstacles that are included with it, but it would hurt for sure.
Pa Jusko, abi že Febrat smatra kva je to za zvezi s tabo, kad vidi jeme pišeš.
Just how well they managed to fight back, because again, how many times have we seen teams be in a similar position to them on the leaderboards, and then 1 or 2 good games, and all of a sudden you're back to being top 10.
Yeah, want to see that pop off.
Zakaj govorijo top 10?
It does for the team.
Want
to see the back-to-back for
top 9 igra, ne drugače čet.
Happy after that last game. Blues gets Vortex back as well. Mid-game things happening inside the mid-game, reboots, rotations, yada yada. It's nice to see a bunch of teams actually.
Bolje če rečeš kaj me sničaš.
To last week, so many people taking their good old time getting into the circle. You can when Snipez are in tow, and you have a lot of them to play with, but I think everyone's realizing now when the zone goes towards Brutal, and it has been an EU a lot inside these finals and majors lobbies, you have to be on top of things. You just have to move when the zone moves and locates exactly where it is. You can't take your time and go for these delayed fights. Rifts are always an option, but even then, we saw some people just being way too late to play their part of the game. Yapko Paco must be happy this time because not going down to Surge early and actually have the zone next to their home for this game.
The other tough thing too about some of those later rotations is that north side of the map. I mean, remember, it's the north side of the map. There's so much natural map elevation for teams that are close.
Sam vidio, Mr. Bisidel, sam vidio.
Earlier rotations to make sure that they are in a good positioning.
Abi pa je Boštjan govoril z uno Slovenca, ki je bil na Mr. Bisidel. Je rekel, da je od leta 2008 že v Ameriki.
I mean, they're utilizing a little bit of height here to just take pot shots at anyone that they spot trying to run around closer towards the zone. As Refs and Trip reminded that the Mammoth pistols will always exist in these lobbies. Definitely not happy about having to expend some of his heals there for sure, but it's what you have to do. You've got to make sure that you are healthy enough on these rotations, because you never know when a 3-2-1 Mammoth pistol from a duo is...
Sam še vedno mi ni. Raje bi videl, da bi dejansko poslal folk, ki živi v tisti državi, ne pa da je poslal vse, ki živijo v Ameriki iz Scorpa. Pa imajo sam korenine, pa čisto ne države.
I've been really going for this, but I just talked about how this might not be the best decision looking at how those zones are going, and this is very, very typical to what is happening with us starting to Tripper in the finals. Now in last chance, they want to make sure that this is a speedy fight. I know they're ahead on Surge, but losing position is not going to be the best in this next zone. I know this is just zone 4-2, but these mistakes and decisions will compound way later into the game. Ultimately, we found a 1v1 though against Refscar. Tripper lost in the sauce right now, and Refscar taking a lot of damage. 3 slurps, and Refscar should have a few of his own. Round 2 now starts for Pablo in this intense fight in waves, and unfortunately, on the backside, another team comes through against Tripper.
You would think that there wouldn't be that many teams still lingering inside of the storm, but no, it's going to be another solo.
Znači, tako kaže Svet, ne, Slovenci so že na lanu, vsi Slovenci, ki so so že na lanu.
But still, the fact that Astral and Lazen were nearly able
to
cut off Trip and Refscar there, they might have possibly even extended Pablo's life here for the time being, because it does not seem as though Trip and Refs really want to stick around for much longer. So Pablo, we saw with 3, that might just be enough for him to continue clutching out just one placement higher in this game.
I see how long he can actually hold on for.
Odide Sage, tretja.
Also talked about just, you know, how the game is going for people who are actually prioritizing the zone, what you kind of have to do inside of these winter circles.
To je ko mi tretja igra.
Firebro, Curb, who are
nisam prvolio čat.
bent on playing position as much as possible, are going for the biggest wrap.
Tukaj je težji streama, drugače sem tle, kakor pa doma.
Not looking too lonely though, as a few other teams are also.
Če hočem delati mape, pa to, pa delam mape, pa moram pol direkt z tega streama, sploh ne moram. Až ko nočem iti sem, pa delati nekaj, pa iti nazaj domov, na pauzo, pa spet nazaj sem, pa. Ja, kam se sem dobro. Drugače ni zdajle, če se igrati v več IRL-ih moram narediti streamovi, to je to.
Last thing I want to see though is those builds on the mountainside and Curb instantly reminded of what it is exactly that he's trying to rotate into. It's not going to be feasible to look for a dead side approach here with so many teams already positioned on this mountain.
Yeah, it's actually fine if these guys weren't like so bad on Surge, but the fact that they have to elect for the option to shoot some of these builds and come in from
Jusko, tebi je lagano, ne?
Is the toughest thing. They have the game right in front of them. They can now just pull all the way north and then go left, and it's a perfect Firebro Curb experience. The issue is, just earlier in this game, they did not land enough shots. A difference of 4 shots, or maybe even just 1 mammoth pistol to someone's head, costs them game 3 entirely. Yeah, medkit's available. Yeah, there's so much here, but this is just doom for Firebro unless someone runs into his box and then just disconnects, and he gets a free 300 damage. Yeah. You'll see Propsy already running away. They're going and electing to go that north side. Demon Bless, Nyan, everyone that's on that left is going to be stuck. Not going to be able to make that rotation. I want to follow Propsy after this. They kind of just steal the essence of Firebro and Curb and just get the game going. They'll keep pushing as north as possible before cutting left. And there's nothing that Firebro can really do now. Matt's looking good for the moment, but he can't build and move at the same time and heal. You can choose 2, and if you only do 2, then
Kaj je ta Maurica? Pojma nimam zakaj.
Unfortunate for the team that had everything.
Nema kaj v zvezi z eventom, ali sam zato, ker so v shop dali neki spet Rainbow Royale, par stvari za ston.
The initial damper on their game 3 capabilities. Just so difficult to actually bounce back from those reboots, but a good attempt. At least a little bit more time, and
po T2 je streamom,
now
T2.
you're just banking that some of those other teams higher up on the leaderboards don't necessarily have the greatest of games either, but one team looking for a repeat experience.
Ja, sam ponad imajo junija to, nimajo.
Mr. Savage, they've got a great spot currently on the edge of this mountainside. They know that they're basically situated on that secondary height layer for the time being, but you're going to see those teams for the mountain now being forced to drop as that zone closes in just a little bit further, pulling away from the mountain, but still enough on the side of it.
Danes se porečujem, da ni toliko energije. Porabil vse na delanju map.
Gonna be tricky, and now they have to move towards that right side. That's all fire. This is usually where they end up tripping falling if they do. But if they stick together and everything goes fine, endgame should be so good for these guys. Very good at traversing some of these tricky zones, but here we go already. Toughness from all sides, stuck in the same box. Nice extension on towards the right.
Gledaš mape, zato je to dober. Pinči in vse mapo sem naredil, kaj ti delaš, kaj ti govoriš, noben.
One more time before, then they're in trouble, and they don't have slurps to actually take over towards endgame. They still need that utility. They're not built different totally like that, where it's just them and their bodies needing that slurp to go for a height take or make it through some of these tricky zones.
Mad.
But just like Mini Miner pointed out, one thing that they definitely have going for them is that earlier mid-game aggression and the elimination put them in a good spot as far as their surge damage is concerned, so they can at least choose to maneuver with a little bit more time, a little bit more poise, essentially. Not necessarily as forced to rush things through. And Tripper and Revsguard, they make it happen with the rift in.
A bi gledali jutar to chat, Loud proti EG-u.
Over and over again, people just rifting in, barely even moving. Everyone's so focused when it's a winter zone on what's happening in front of their box that no one can even focus or fathom there's people flying in from the sky. So nice for Tripper and Revsguard. Meanwhile, in the trenches, come in, Kaizen, move in, and just making it into the zone. They're praying for that little bit of bounce back towards the bottom side. They'll have one of the best spots in the game for that if it's possible. But if EU is anything, it's not merciful when it comes to these zones. If it bounces back towards that north side, if it stretches.
Danes odigra, ja sam danes se nisem nič zmenil, pa mogo bi pozже zdaj streamati. Ma ne vem, če bi, ne bom do Cashka igral, ker tudi Berlin je rekel, da verjetno ne bo. Jusko,
starting from Molehills.
A priložnost kakšno splejo strankama kasne podloge, pa je slovenska firma. Ja, to pa ne vem, če obstaja. Živiču mi. Mislim, tle sedim na stolu enmu, sam nimam pa svojega stola. Predvijem, da je za moj stol me vprašal. Hej, Jusko, no? Aja, tle je. Jusko, a bi jutar igral pingvinčke? To pač, ne vem, magar od 7 do 9 igral pingvinčke, pa gledam VCT. Če ne bom igral Cash Cup. Fazmo moram še iti. Ja, sam pinči je no-show, ampak Jusko ima Fazmo, ne? Jusko je tryhard do Fazmo, da se motam. Pa Kaša, Jusko, zakaj ti sploh še treniraš? Tisto, kada pijaš še treniral. Kotnik, nisem je še naprintal.
Take a little bit of damage, but not too much that he can't handle.
And that's the other thing too.
Jusko, ti toliko treniraš, da treniraš enkrat na 3 tedne, se ti sploh splača. Itak se ti ne da.
But maybe not as much as he would like in terms of how efficiently he's going to be able to suppress some of these duos. You can see him being a little bit more conservative with which direction he's actually going to choose to spray. Recognizes there's some teams trying to ramp all the way down. He's going to force duo to essentially drop entirely.
O ja, Fazno brez luči, sam na T2, to bi bilo fajn. Ja.
Kaizen, different story. Now relatively low on builds, but
Kaj je ta nova zdaj, Juško, nov update? Ta teden imaš 2 treninga pa 2 tekme. In kdaj si nazaj iz treninga drugač?
Gonna be tough. These guys are basically just clocked out now. I mean, Nebs and Hellfire in front of him, not gonna be able to get through those walls easily. Meanwhile, on height, this is gonna be very, very tricky to actually navigate through. You have to be giving up a few layers, but being good at the same time. Focusing back on Clement though. Moving in, really going for an all-in here. Once again, full defense. Might not even find too much, but spraying right through the builds. There's one, can hopefully find the next two. It is good for Clement and Kaizen. That's Vexy down.
Okay, Kotnik, okay.
Yo-Yo gone as well. Clement moving now. Kaizen low, might have just left him behind. Tripper by himself too, as Rush guards the cost to get to this position. No builds left, and that zone will keep moving up and up hills.
Tripper just doing what he can.
Oni pobral Medmista. Zdaj je, evo.
Medmist though, practically out at this point. It's all or nothing at this point. He's trying to run into the zone, but he just doesn't have the time. And the zone.
Look at it! That is insane! Going up one of the biggest mountains in the game. Clement somehow from low is making it possible. Nebs has expended everything to get to the spot. Now he just has his bullets and he goes for the second player running outside of the box.
Everyone
has 7 seconds to find some type of elim. Lots of damage. No siphon though. Zone moving slowly so he can actually catch up on the right side. But everyone still has to move up. He has no builds left and no time. He's gone. Paco now also. One of the people who was leading these tarps is going to be absolutely flabbergasted as well. More people coming in from the bottom side. This is one of the most brutal zones we've ever seen in Fortnite, and now it's forcing everyone back down the hill. Howley, who had height, not to this point now, down in the slums of the snow, and he can't do much
either. Mata.
He's somewhere, but he's not next to him.
Dosta to ti da drugač Howley pa to.
Howley is also down. Now it's just the Frizzy, and he has no rest. There's no builds left inside this endgame.
And that's the problem, is that the team that's on height is just having an absolute field day, non-stop spraying down onto everyone below. It's F9, it's Moneymaker just playing devastators to the entirety of this lobby as if they didn't have enough to worry about. Mariah try to get a piece of the action.
Master Kurubaubiu! The fuck?
It's Propsy Kiro doing what he can
Holy
to
shit.
try and recover some sort of footing, but the legendary slurp juice, the Medmist, they're only going to buy so much time. Moneymaker will wind up dropping here, doesn't have any builds, knows that he can just play the aggressor here, trying to hunt out these players that are left standing, but it's a solo situation up against the likes of F9 and Moneymaker. And the zone just one more time, Shio, keeps being as brutal as ever with the way that it's pulling over height, and that's all it takes. F9.
Ajde, vidimo lestvicu, ajde. Desnica pa je... Freezy Howley sta tega, sta prva, Kaizen Clement druga, Animaker F9 tretja, Dilsel sta padla na 5. mesto. Hej, naš Janis. Janis je... Ok, 28, svaka ne igra dobro. Holy shit, Janisa ne bo niti na lanu, chat. Kaj je Merlan? To je pa res, Kotnik, to je pa res, ja. Žonik Javnik, preber gor. Ko je prišla faza ven, da videl... Toti teden imam 2 treninga, pa tega to sem prebral. Če vse postreči, kaj jih 10 malo prek, ker še jem. Čio. To je... Ja, kdaj pa greš? Kaj pa za trening, kdaj greš? To te nač sploh.
I mean, you see the never-ending ramps. It felt like everyone just trying to run up.
Hey,
just no
room
left to go. And when you have a team controlling like F9 and Moneymaker did at the very end there, they were just picking and choosing exactly which direction they wanted to suppress.
Zdaj spet gledamo VCT. Ja, zdaj se odločam. Jutr imamo Cash Cup. Sam mislim, da bo jutr tako igral. Zdaj, če jutr igram Cash Cup, ni VCT-a. Če jutr ne igram Cash Cupa, lahko gledamo VCT ob 9. Loud proti EG. Hej, cud, zhvati za 6 mesecev. Živo, skoro, kako si? V redu, kako si ti?
That zone was nuts. Like, you do not see zones like that every day.
V chatu povejte, kaj bi, VCT ali Cash Cup jutr?
So well, Ian. I was, rather surprised. I don't think I should be surprised.
Da, jaz tem. Lani je nasleden season.
Pink's one of the better IGLs in EU. So I think the fact that they were so composed, they had a game plan to deal with this zone so well. I think that just goes to show, the extra effort they've had.
Več vas je za VCT. Kaj je, da pišem, če lahko jutr gledam.
Of coaches putting in the work, but what I love so much about F9 and Moneymaker here is you could see with that difficult environment, they were making the adaptations needed to continue successfully as the game goes on. For example, they were connecting to the natural environment, to the mountains all around instead of previous structures that were built like you would in a traditional end game, but really played it by the book in that sense, took it from the height, and honestly, those like last moments, they didn't even have to really get
GG Jusko, no?
Out healing, and it led to the VR.
All right, look, we're at a crucial point now when it comes to standings. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. And a reminder, the top 9 teams...
Kotnik, jutr bomo gledali Loud proti EG-u. To bo zelo zanimivo. EG je edina ameriška ekipa še noter. Pač to zna biti ful zanimivo, pa tisk, ki jutr zgubi je out. A je to leto lan? Ja. Pač naslednja sezona, čet, naslednja sezona je do nekje začetek decembra, začetek decembra je že nov chapter. Tam ko kvala top 9. Pri EG-u mislim, da je Demon, ja, včer sem nekaj gledal, mislim, da je Demon pri EG-u, ja. Dobar tek, Juškovič. Če Diamanti lahko pridejo od 2024 VCT, mislim, lahko, če bojo zelo dobro ekipo dobali. Zdaj novo ekipo spet sestavljajo. A zdaj bojo sestavljali verjetno za cel let. Kar pomeni, da pa če dobijo dobro, ima več šanse, ne? Bojo cel let skrp igrali.
For the rest of the matches, I'm pretty positive they'll keep their spot in the top 9.
Yeah, I mean, Levin, you're going to be thrilled if you're in this top 9 situation, if you're within the environment now at the half-time point. It's not about maintenance at the end of the day because ultimately people can leapfrog you, teams can leapfrog.
Kaj, v Diamantih? Ja, pač cilj mi je, da pač vsaj Grmek ostane Slovenca, ne? A ni tako, da ni jutr VCT-ja. Minti, atleka gledam, jutr, lej. 20. A ja, ne, to je danes. Oh, fuck. Danes smo 20. Oh, fuck. Jutr ni VCT-ja.
Clearly, are starting to get into a better rhythm, right? I talked about them at the start of the show where I said, there are some veterans in these obviously, they are a bit more experienced. Obviously, one problem...
O, moj bog, ja, nič. Ne, danes je chat to.
Still making plays happen, and I think that is a positive.
Yeah, I mean it's similar to what we're seeing from Mr. Savage and
ja, 24 ga gledamo. Gledamo Paper X proti Evil Geniuses.
of the map, so it was difficult for a lot.
A ne, čaj, Evil Genius so oni, ki so Američani. Da pa te igrajo. A ne, sam ne, če piše. Zatem pa piše, da igrajo jutr, kao. A ja, ne, to je danes v bistvu, a ja. Juko je Dajra, kako si mi Scorp? Pa v redu, malo zaspan, hvala ti za 2 evre, kako si ti? Opa. Pač to zih gledamo v četrtek. Zdaj, v petek je nova Fortnite sezona, ampak bomo verjetno itak do 9 že dosti preigrali Fortnite, tako da jaz bi magar naredil, da tudi v petek gledamo lower bracket finale, opa finale pa gledamo na epicentru. Se bi rekel, da bi danes gledal tole chat na streamu, sam po moje bi raj že zdajle končal, ne vem, ne počutim se dosti danes dobro. Ne počutim se danes dosti dobro, da bi še streamu naprej iskren. Jaz neki. Ej, Sniki! A za jutr imaš duo? Mislim, čak, ne vem, bo Berlina igral, čak da ga vprašam. Jutr igraš pol ali ne. Lower bracket semifinal bo treba gledati, sploh če bo Fnatic pa Loud. Ja, to bo pač Loud, ful mi je zanimivo, da Loud in Fnatic sta oba dva v lower bracketu. Sam čakaj malo. Ne, sam... A ja, verjetno, sam to je že... Ja, to je 25. v polnoči. Ja, mislim... Čak, to je narobe. To je 26. pol, ja, ok, mislim... Ne, čakaj, kva? Ne, 24. v polnoči. Piše, kaj vem, da to je tok mod. Se pravi, pol bomo gledali chat, v četrtek gledamo pol tole. Pa pol direkt tole. Ja. Imamo četrtek, v četrtek pol začnem stream pozen chat. V četrtek pol začnemo stream magar 15 do 9, pa gledamo obe tekmi, ja. To je bilo dobro. A ste za? Tako da bo v četrtek bo pol daljši stream. V petek bo tudi daljši stream ali pa 2 streama, odvisen kako bo s Fortniteom. Sniki, ja, če bi nov hotel igrati, lahko igrava jutr Cash Cup, če si za. Misliš, da bo naslednji chapter trio? Pojma nimam, upam, da ja, no, upam, da bo trio.
Thank you. Oh, we love Reddish. And for the record, Levin, I'm a table tennis OG. You don't want this one. All right.
Oh, I mean, I saw you playing in Copenhagen, Ian.
Yeah. Listen, we got to get into the game. Sorry to interrupt. Let's get right back into it with our
Ja, sej, Evil Genius so Američani, a ne? Ne, Edward Gaming. Ja, oni so Američani. No, Demon.
Absolutely got the vibes all the way high, especially for game 4 and how this tournament is going overall today. It's close.
Ja, zakaj pa sem jaz toliko zmeden, kje roster jim kaže? Tle jih je toliko teh. Aha, to so pa format, tle so pa active. Tudi tle ni Demona, čakaj, jaz sem zdaj čez zmeden. EDG so Kitajci, ok. Stream player, ja, jutr ne bo, jutr ni VCT-ja, tako da zdaj podkočat za ta teden, da naredimo plan. Jutr, Cash Cup, zadnji Cash Cup v tej sezoni. Pol utork, pa je utork, utork smo 22. tudi ni načle. Utork bi bilo fajn, da igramo kakšno grozljivko, če si iskreno. V sredo smo 23. tudi še načni. Tork sredo moramo nekaj, kar ni nač Fortnite. Pa v četrtek pol gledamo upper bracket finale, pa lower bracket polfinale. V petek je nova sezona plus lower bracket finale. In pa v soboto pa gledamo finale tega VCT-ja. Ja. Jusko! Aja, on je šel jest, fuck. Rekel je, da ima ta teden 2 tekmi pa 2 treninga. Zdaj me ker dan je fraj. Stream player. V redu, 22. je Cash Cup finale, a veš. Zato je 21. 22. Abi, ja, v četrtek igrajo Upper Bracket polfinale ob 9. Pa ob polnoči igrajo Lower Bracket polfinale. Pa če bo Fnatic pa Loud, da ne bo ful zanimiv za gledat. Tako da bom verjetno v četrtek sem le prišel šele v pol 9. Pa da naredim stream 15 za 9, pa gledamo pač to dvoje. Naj se piše 25. polnoč, abi, lej.
Initially having been at Naughty Nets, it's a very difficult one to work with, especially when uncontested, but now it seems as though they're doing what they need to. And the same could be said as well here.
Pa to stream player ti no vratali igrat. Aja, Cash Cupa. Ej, chat, jaz bom zaključil. Ne vem, danes sem preveč tako, da bi še streamal, če se iskreno. Se mi zdi, da nima smisla, da takole streamam. Upravičujem se, da zdajle je tako manj streamov, pa to. Sam upam, da zastopljeno, glede na vso situacijo, pa še vedno ni isto, kot če sem doma, ne. Definitivno čist drugač. Ampak, lej, ko bo studio, pa to bomo nazaj na polno grinda, lej, to obljubam. Mogoče bi lahko, chat, v torek ali pa v sredo grem lahko v labirint, pa IRL stream naredim. Abi, a je torek ali pa v sredo lep vreme? Taki, Slovi. No, lobby dal sam vreme. Torek pa sreda, ja, zgleda v redu. Lobby, abi, a bi šla? Labirint v torek ali pa sreda, pa da to IRL stream naredim. To bi bilo, a bi vam bilo to zanimiv chat, IRL stream, labirint. Hvala, Terax. A bi vam bilo to dobro? A bi rekla lahko. A mora to kaj rezervirati, abi? A mora to rezervirati? Ker je labirint v Kamniku, oziroma pred Kamnikom, čist zraven mene, je koruzni labirint. Koruzni labirint je, da se ne motam. Pa je vsak let je na novo, je pač drugačen narejen. Abi, kako se imenuje? Sam to, da folk malo vidi tako. A ja, v kartini je. Kaj bi bilo, abi? Sam, ko sem se pelil proti Kamniku, sem videl labirint na levo noter. Mogoče pa tisti neki drugega pol. O, tisti neki drugega sem gledal. Grozni labirint kartina. Evo, pač imajo tako labirinta, ne. To je bilo dobro streamati. Uro pa pol traja povprečno, da prideš ven. Cena pa je 10 evrov. Tako da, to bi vam bilo po moje zanimivo zagledati. Tako da, chat, dej v torek pričakujte pol Tomagar ali pa v sredo. To je bilo zakon. To je bilo zakon. To je dober content za IRL stream. Pa kakšne VUP igre, pa to bi bilo tudi lao zanimivo. Sam, tisti je boljš pri GoPro, sam čeprav se, če abi drži telefon, sam fore da pol tudi ona ne more zraven delati, ne, to ne vem. A res si bil tam, vrhovnik? Ja, jutr je stream, ja, sam jutr je Cash Cup. Just like expert. Bom pol, moram probati prizem spet, da ne vštekala, veš, moram testirati, pa na privat pa vse, da vidim, kako bo delal on stream, če bo v redu delal. Prizem. Abi, če nimam GoPro-ja, ne moram. Triptiksa.
Big damage, and then they can move. Big looks on the Howley and the Freezy right now, as well as they just seem to be doing really, really good at the most unsuspected
Ok, folk, noč, jaz bom danes zaključila in danes mi res ne sede streamat neki dolg, ker nimam toliko energije, to je brez veze. Rad bi se zahvalil vsem, ki ste me danes podprli po to, ki ste gledali, pa se ga vidimo jutr, ok, jutr Cash Cup, pa v torek ali pa v sredo Labirint, pa VCT imamo pa še konc vikenda pa novo sezono. Tako da to je to, folk. Upam, da zastopite, pa uživajte. Lahko noč. Ajde, čau.